you're looking for customized insurance, HR, or financial solutions to protect your home, your car, your health, your business, or your employees, our specialists are here to serve you, the people you care about, and your success. Higginbotham, insurance, HR, and financial services inspired by you.
Well, for the Baylor Bears, drawing the starting assignment on the mound tonight, Brian, is right-hander Cade Hansen.
Cade Hansen won a Division III national championship last year, transfers into Baylor, so it's a guy who's got a lot of experience, although not at the Division I level, still making a little bit of an adjustment, but he's primarily a sinker-slider guy. He does have a third pitch in his changeup that's going to need to be effective today against a very left-handed lineup, but a guy who good things happen when he's getting the ball on the ground.
A Smithson Valley High School product. See his numbers on the season. And, of course, over those 8 innings, he's given up the 6 runs. The lineup he will face for the Roadrunners, they're coming off a game in which they put 16 runs on the board against Coastal Carolina. Miller, Detlefson, Hayworth, the top 3. Arquette had a big swing yesterday. Hallmark's always on base, at least it seems. Silva catching. Diaz at second. Palmer will be the DH. Jordan Ballin will be the shortstop. And no Andrew Stuckey after a big-time performance yesterday where he had 4 hits and a home run as the catcher.
That's a tough lineup to crack right now. There's a lot of stuff going right for this UTSA offense. 8 of the 9 hitters that they're going to run out there today come into this game with an OPS over 1,000.
Goodness.
They're dynamic. They can run. They can play small ball. They hit the ball out of the ballpark. It's a tough matchup for anybody who takes the mound against this team right now.
Been a fun team to watch this weekend with these Roadrunners. The visiting team today, and here's Cade Hansen, as Brian mentioned, a Division III national championship with Wisconsin Whitewater. In so doing, had 15 starts last year. Went 12-1. He's pitching on the big stage in the big building tonight. Caden Miller, the first baseman, leading off. 3 for 7 this weekend. He's knocked in 3 runs. And again, a lot of these numbers will look really good for UTSA. Roof open all weekend long. Temperatures cooling off just a bit, and we're off and rolling in game number 9 with a ball shot foul down the line and left and out of play.
This matchup is kind of a something's got to give matchup. You've got a pitcher on the mound who likes to pitch to contact, wants to fill the zone up, and an offense that gets up there and wants to swing and put the ball in play.
I think it's going to be an intriguing matchup for just that reason. Here's the 0-1 pitch. In there for a strike. Our plate umpires Michael Durantis here in the nightcap. Michael Carroll umpires at first. Doug Williams at second. Eric Gaucher will be at third base. So the Bears will shift a bit with 2 strikes on Caden Miller. It's not easy to make that jump from D3 to the D1 ranks. That one fouled back and out of play. About 100 years ago, I think that's an accurate estimate. I did basketball and football games in that conference with Whitewater, and there's Platteville and Oshkosh and La Crosse. At that time, it was the WSUC, so people called it the WSUC, so they ended up changing the name. What it is now, I couldn't tell you, but it's no longer the WSUC. It's no longer the WSUC conference.
Well, I can tell you what it also is. It's probably not a lot of fun to play in late February and early March there.
Not a lick of fun, to be honest with you. Count holds at 0-2. Oshkosh for the longest time was a good baseball program. I think Jared Washburn, a former pitcher. That ball hits into the shift, and Reebok will play it back on the grass in shallow right and throw out Caden Miller to begin this game. One thing Hansen would love to do is just put up a 0 or a couple of zeros, considering how good that offense looked for UTSA yesterday.
Well, they got out to a fast start. 3 runs before there was an out recorded, and it just felt like they kind of overwhelmed Coastal Carolina's starting pitcher. You certainly want to get a couple quick outs and settle in here.
Well, that's a base runner. Detlefson for that one. All he did yesterday was hit 2 homers in the game and have 4 hits and a 4-for-6 performance. Maybe the report was to pitch him in. Well, that was too far in.
These UTSA hitters, they do a lot of stuff. They move runners, they hit for power. What they don't do, they don't get out of the way.
Yeah, they don't move.
They are going to take that hit by pitch. It's part of their game. Anything that they can do to get on base, create traffic, cause havoc, try to take your focus away from what's going on at home plate and reap the benefits of that.
Well, here's Lane Hayworth. Not just 2 homers this weekend, but in both games. So even though Becerra of Texas had 3, he had a 2-homer game and a shot earlier today in the Texas win. He's trying to string them together. Knocked in 4 runs, scored 5 runs this weekend at the College Classic. Got a pitch to hit and strokes it out to left field. Snow on the move. Will get there to make the catch and pops up quickly to play it back in.
Nice play out there by Snow. We talked in the open about his offense, but they like his defense too. He's a very athletic kid. You can see him go get it out there and left. And now that we're to the Sunday games in this tournament, the outfielders probably feeling a little bit more comfortable with their surroundings and where they're at out there.
I would hope so. And again, even though we play with the roof open and the wind has kind of been drifting or blowing out, we haven't had too many other issues involved. And this is Josh Arquette. That pitch, the slider, carries off the outside corner. Well, Arquette had a grand slam in the 3rd inning wearing those Bruce Bolt batting gloves with Bear Mayer up here in the booth with us. And he hadn't completed the tour around the bases, and he pointed out he's wearing the namesake of this event. That's some ROI.
Gotta get your money's worth.
Hard hit, but right to short. Sanders will go the long route to first. That took a long time to get there, but in time to get Arquette hit batter, and that's it for the Roadrunners. And the Baylor Bears coming into bat in the bottom of the 1st from Dyken Park.
This season, we're all fire. Higher aspirations, bigger dreams.
And Space City Home Network is bringing you the most live coverage, plus pre- and post-game analysis.
They left everything on the court.
And exclusive content you can't get anywhere else.
From behind the scenes to every moment that matters, we are here.
We fought, came out with a win.
Are you ready, H-Town? Because it's all fire on Space City Home Network.
Hello, everyone. Your favorite pro, Jason Alexander here, lighting it up on the Pro Show, where we'll hang out with our favorite sporting celebrities, get tips and stories with the Rocket, Roger Clemens, and Captain America, Patrick Reed. Yes, we'll fire a couple golf balls out of studio and get ready to be inspired, meeting Austin and all of his friends. So check your local listings right here on the Space City Home Network. We'll see you all on the first tee with plenty of finger fives on the way. Right, Austin?
Left-hander Connor Miles gets the starting assignment tonight for the UTSA Roadrunners.
Another experienced starting pitcher, left-hander. Not overwhelming stuff. It's a low 90s fastball, a couple of different breaking balls, slider, curveball, mix in a changeup. Just got a lot of different ways to get hitters out. He's competitive, and he just knows how to pitch. He'll go out there and won't really show you the same thing in 2 different at-bats.
Starting lineup for the Bears: Sanders, Reebok, Armstrong, Janusek, McDade, Snow, Clements, Kennett, and Caraway getting the start in center field.
This is kind of the version of the offense that they like to throw out there against lefties. If you see a right-handed reliever come in, there might be some pinch hitters, but the biggest thing of note, 5 freshmen in this lineup
That's
today.
young, there's no doubt. Mitch Stampson was talking about that after the game yesterday, just being in games and learning and growing and trying to do so while picking up some wins. And Sanders leading off. Going back to last year, he has reached base in 15 straight games. Good numbers on the campaign. And he'll foul one away to begin the bottom of the 1st against this left-hander from Melbourne, Australia, through Odessa College. It's a long ways from Melbourne to any place, but Melbourne to Odessa is a little bit unique.
Odessa's not near anything.
It is not. Baseball will take you in some unique paths. That one again found a way to the right into the upper tank.
I like it, Trav. I like it.
There's a AA team in the Texas League, Midland, the Midland Rockhounds. It's a long bus ride to get there.
It's a long anything to get there. Oh, and 2 to Sanders.
Good, Trav. Good. That boy really good.
In that loss last night to Texas 5-2. Sanders took a couple of walks, also singled, and he might just have a base hit here, and he will. Past the dive of the shortstop Ballin, past Diaz, and a base hit. That's 17 hits on the year for Travis Sanders.
He's racking them up, and talk about a ground ball with eyes. There's 3 different guys had a shot at that ball, came about 6 inches total from knocking that ball down.
You aren't kidding.
It was set on getting up to the outfield.
So Baylor in that loss last night, just 4 hits, so maybe a good beginning. Reebok 0 for 6. He's going to bunt. Someone has to cover first, and that flip just does get to Diaz in time from Miles.
It's a tough play for a left-handed pitcher trying to go to that first base line. You really have to try to get around the ball and get your momentum going back towards first base. If you come straight towards the line, you're going to be stuck having to give a little backhand flip, which, you know, then the runner comes into play. You almost have to get going back up the line and try to run parallel to the runner.
Little football shovel pass action. Here's Armstrong. Looks at a curve for a strike. 4 homers, the 20 RBIs. You know the story, the 3 grand slams on opening day, accounting for 3 of those 4 and 12 of the 20. Knocked down off the glove of Miles. And a fire to first that's in time to get Armstrong. Boy, Diaz had to reverse his course, and I didn't think he was going to have enough time to make the play, but he did.
And Diego Diaz goes a long way. He gets himself all the way to the third base side of the bag trying to track that ball. Then it gets knocked into the hole. He goes all the way back to get it, and then enough arm strength to get the out at first.
So Miles has either made a play or had a play, and all 3 balls hit this inning.
Pitched contact, good things happen. Just heads up at the mound.
Help yourself, I guess, or try. This is Janusek. He's reached base in 10 straight. Couple of home runs on the year.
Tell you what's a bad feeling as a pitcher is you stick your glove out there and knock it down. Don't feel it cleanly and knock it down, and then you turn around and realize that you had an infielder standing straight behind you.
Yeah, that's bad news. High pop up. It'll be back behind the screen and out of play. Baylor so far in this event defeated Ole Miss 6-5 in extras, lost to Texas 5-2 last night, and that one shot down the line in right, and it is a foul ball. I know that loss to the Longhorns wasn't a lot of fun, and Mitch Thompson after the game said, listen, we're not facing chopped liver out there. I'm going to give them a heck of a compliment. I've been watching Texas baseball for 30 years. That's the best Texas pitching staff I've ever seen. Were we great tonight? No, not even close, but he did tip his cap to the Longhorn pitchers.
No, absolutely. You know, you go through a tough stretch offensively. Certainly the first thing you do is you look in the mirror and say, what can we do better? But you also have to look at who have we been facing, and Baylor's seen some arms recently.
And with Baylor over these last couple of weekends, last weekend they played 3 teams, Oregon State, Purdue, and Southern Miss. Good squads Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then it's Ole Miss, Texas, UTSA this weekend. So 6 different teams in those 6 games. A chance to get a run, though, to get on the board today. Sanders is getting a big walking lead down the line. The count 1-2, now 2-2 to Janusek. That's poked to the right side. Diaz gliding to his left will scoop it at the lip of the grass and throw out Janusek. Diaz was busy this inning. Couple of assists and a putout. Leadoff single does not lead to a run. Off we go to the second here in the nightcap, the finale of the Bruce Bowl College Classic.
Many of my clients ask me, how can I afford to buy my next home, but also make sure my current home sells? That's why who you work with matters. Together with HomeLight, we've helped clients win the home of their dreams every time.
You can't guard me? You need a break? Ellison tonight. Do you need a break? Come on.
Ben, your mom called. Looks like you're stuck with us tonight.
Let's go! Give me a shred.
Talent and teamwork. Big thinking and bold action. When the right elements combine, something amazing happens. UT San Antonio brings a world-class academic health center and a top-tier research university together, creating a force for excellence in education, discovery, and care. Making bold ambitions real. Your ambition has a place, and it's here.
Brian, I don't think you ever get tired of that view in this ballpark, do you?
It's a beautiful thing when a nice night when the roof's open here.
It's beautiful either way, but you're right. Beautiful weather and that roof open. Pretty picturesque inside Dyken Park. World Baseball Classic coming soon. Then the regular season won't be that far down the road, but we've got one more game in this Bruce Bowl College Classic to finish off it. The pesky Christian Hallmark leads off the second against Cade Hansen. 2 hits, couple of runs scored. Is there a better word to describe Hallmark as pesky? I'm open for suggestions if you've got one.
Pesky, fidgety.
Fidgety works.
Aggressive. He's one of those guys you can tell he's not content. Wherever he is, he's not content to be there. He's trying to get somewhere else.
And he plays just as hard in the 8th or 9th inning or however long the game may take that he does at the beginning.
Yeah, he knows what his game is, and he's not going to let the score or the inning or the situation really dictate what his level of aggression is. If he sees the opportunity to take something, he does.
He's walked 7 times this year. This Roadrunner team entering play this weekend through 8 games had walked 50 times. So it's part of this team approach. Again, 1 through 9, getting guys on base. Hard to take an inning off if you're a pitcher or a pitching staff. And that one, a late swing and shot foul into the dugout.
Between walks and hit by pitches for this UTSA offense, they're averaging right around a base runner per inning in free passes. A free base runner every inning. It's tough to deal with for a defense, tough to deal with for a pitching staff.
Because you almost feel like 3 or 4 of those should score over the course of the game.
Especially if you're getting them on early. This gives an offense a lot of ways to work. When you've got traffic on the bases, you can play small ball, you can move runners, you can try to get aggressive and steal bases and just frustrate and disrupt things.
Hallmark takes and the count is full. And I think sometimes even when you're maybe not necessarily getting a ton of guys on base with the walk, your approach is to get deep in the count, so you will have a lot of 3-2s.
It pays off eventually. You might not see the reward in the 1st or 2nd inning, but come 4th, 5th inning, come Sunday, you do see it.
Pitch fouled away. We'll do it again.
You would see it a lot of times. 2018, 2019, some of these really good Astros offenses, teams would leave town after a 3-game series, and you could tell that the pitching staff was just exhausted. And I've got to feel like a lot of teams are going to leave San Antonio this year feeling the same way.
I think that's a good comparison. Another pitch fouled away. We'll do it again. It's like the basketball team that presses and runs because you've got to keep up with that pace. Otherwise, you're going to get run out of the building. Another 3-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. Hallmark thought he had ball 4. Rung up by Michael Durantis. And Cade Hansen wins that long battle.
It's a well-located fastball right there by Cade Hansen. Borderline on if it's going to be a strike or not, but you'll take your chances. And, you know, one of the things you have to do if you're facing a sinker ball pitcher is tell yourself you got to see it up, see it up. You're trying to lay off that pitch down at the bottom, but if he can catch the bottom, just kind of tip your hat.
Pretty good frame job by Kennett to bring that ball back up. That might be a lost start this year in the major leagues in some senses.
Might be a helmet tap after one of those.
you might be right. Here's Jacob Silva, 6 for 12 this year with the new ABS system coming into play. Silva rockets one to right center field. This ball is down. It's going to plug the gap and be cut off by Janusek. But Silva's going to try for 2. The throw's not a bad one. In fact, it is not in time. I thought maybe Silva was going to be out. Apparently, Sanders didn't get that tag on him.
Well, this is part of the identity for this offense. It's force the defense to make the play, and Silva's he's going to second base as soon as he leaves the box. He's thinking about it, and it's going to take a good route to cut off the ball. It's going to take a perfect throw, and you can see even though the ball gets cut off and the throw comes in quickly, just a little bit off the base gives him a window to slide in behind the tag, and you make the other team be perfect. They're not always going to be.
All right, got a question for you. Diaz rolls one up the middle. Reebok made the play, but his throw is not in time. Made it a good effort, but Diego Diaz smelled a hit. And the Roadrunners have runners on the corners.
Hitters just know. They know when they got a chance, and you run just a little bit harder. Diego Diaz knew he was going to have to bust it.
All right, I'm a pitch removed from my question. Did Sanders need to go get that throw? Could he have waited back a little more and been in a path to tag the runner?
No, it was up the line enough that he had to go get it. You know, it wasn't a depth question of letting it travel all the way to the bag to drop the tag down. When it's off the base, you got to go get it. The thing that a lot of guys do now is they try to get that little swipe tag and get you in the back before your foot touches, but it was just a tick late.
This is Brock Palmer. He is the DH today. 8 at-bats on the year. He has a homer, and he's knocked in 3. Gulf Coast State junior college product. Well, he really gets into those knees. Little tapper up the first base side. That's going to be picked up. And what a great play by Armstrong, because he realized Silva wasn't trying to score, so there was no need to let that ball roll and maybe kick foul. And the Bears get the second out, but the Roadrunners do not get a run.
No, that's a tough read right there from Silva. You got to, as soon as the ball is on the ground, your read is to go. You're in a double play type of situation, so even if they go home to try to get you, you're going to stay out of that situation. Now, if it's tapped softly back to the pitcher, where his only play is going to be coming home, you stay. But down the lines like that, that's essentially a safety squeeze bunt right there.
I'm with you. Even though that's the catcher running, I think that would have been really hard to charge, scoop, and throw and make an accurate play at the plate.
You see a little bit of daylight. What I mean is that it's not going right back to the pitcher. You see some space when that ball heading down the line. That's a go.
So Hansen has a chance to navigate a couple of runners if he can get the 9-hole hitter Jordan Ballin. This 1 for 9 this weekend. Kennett sets that target right over the heart of the plate. Catcher strike 1. So UTSA 22 runs in 2 games. They'd love to score first tonight in the finale. Hansen's pitch rocketed into the net above the Roadrunner dugout. We've had more than a few pitch com issues. This is a watch issue. We've had the batteries with the PitchCom. Now the watch had to be checked.
And you have a lot of things that can help you. You got a lot of things that can go wrong.
I like that, and I agree.
Who's in charge of charging all this stuff?
Well, apparently they're a little bit lax. Here's the 1-2. It's fouled and dribbling away.
I feel like there's some freshman on every team that's got to travel with
you would think,
20
right?
charging packs.
It's the equivalent of when we get on an airplane and our iPad is at like 30%. Somewhere there was a breakdown. That's going to be costly. 1-2 the count to Baldwin. A little bit of life down in that dugout. Kennett smothers that ball to keep it from sneaking away. 2-2. Road runners get a little bit excited right when Hansen comes set. It's ready to pitch. Are they barking? Are they cheering? What are they doing? There's one and strike three.
I don't know if it's a cheer or if it has something to do with Travis Sanders holding the runner, because when Sanders comes in behind the runner at second and then he breaks out, that's when they get loud. So I don't know if they're helping the runner at second or just trying to distract everybody. Either way, it's working.
Bolin still alive. Here comes the payoff pitch. And they got it. We were talking about Bolin yesterday with his .541 on-base percentage last season. Well, he worked a deep count, took the HBP, and now the bases are full of road runners for the top of the lineup in Caden Miller. Get him off this elbow guard.
Right on the bottom, or maybe even a little bit of forearm.
I don't see any painful reaction, so it might have been absorbed by that guard as much as possible.
Tell you what, if I was going to hang my elbow out that much, I'd have a bigger guard.
And might that be a topic of this conversation here with the umpires? Was there a little lean in? Was there a...
Possibly, but either way, it would be ball 4. Or is it an automatic strike?
It depends where that elbow is. Now, again, he was crowding the plate, so I'm just guessing on this conversation, but I can't imagine what else it might be. And our crew will take a peek. And Michael Durantis behind the plate. Michael Carroll at first, Doug Williams at second, Eric Gaucher, our umpire, at third.
Well, if the question is, did he lean out over the plate or not? The answer is no. The ball's off the plate. So are they looking maybe to, do they think it? Yeah, it didn't hit the knob, so it's not a foul ball.
We got Bob Ford providing analysis over the PA system here at Dyken Park.
He's about half a mile away too.
I know, he's not even close.
He saw that it was a ball.
Our umpires have not been mic'd up, so they've done it the old-fashioned way by pointing and gesturing. I think Mitch Thompson will get an explanation first. Will we get one? I think your thought process, this is going to stand, will hold true. I don't believe there was a shot available, so that's going to be the explanation. was no review.
Okay.
All right. Well, the bases are full of road runners for the leadoff hitter, Caden Miller. Bounced out to second to begin things. So now, after all of that, Canada's going to go to the mound. He had about 4 minutes to go to the mound during that.
He didn't think of it, though, until right
think
now.
of that? Is that right? Maybe that's it. Whatever he wanted to say just popped into his head. But I'm guessing he probably said, we need to throw strikes. No place to put Caden Miller. He's knocked in 3 runs this weekend. Softly chopped over near the Baylor dugout. Clean play was not made. Strike one.
It's a good quality pitch right there. You have a guy who his bread and butter is the sinker, getting the ball on the ground, pitching to contact. Sometimes guys can shy away from that in an RBI situation, runners in scoring position. Just got to remind them, hey, let your stuff work. And that was a good first pitch right there.
Missed with the off-speed pitch. If you're a Sunday night starter in this event, it's been a long wait. You get to town Thursday and watch your teammates play Friday and Saturday, and you sit around the hotel today and get your opportunity. Well, this is a big moment early. That one's hit hard but foul, wide at first. Armstrong went into a dive, but he was well across the chalk. Right on top of that was Michael Carroll.
It's got to be an odd feeling. You're the starter, so you've got all the juice of, it's my first time on the mound in the big league stadium, and you're all excited, and everybody else, they've been out here 18 innings of it. Yeah, they're comfortable. It's just another game.
One ball, 2 strikes to Miller. Batting at the top of this UTSA lineup. Hey, we got a break for home, and the pitch was swung on and fouled away. Jacob Silva, who didn't try to score on the little dribbler, was sprinting down the line.
And that's gonna,
with a left-handed batter.
Well, and that's gonna get Baylor out of their shift. They were completely shifted over to the right side.
If that pitch is not swung on,
he had it.
That will get them out of the shift, there's no doubt. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. That one's high. Not sure if Kennett was trying to sell that or whether he didn't realize he had caught it. Silva third, Diaz at second, Baldwin at first. Another one fouled away. The pesky Road Riders doing what they do best.
An attempted steal of home by a catcher
with a left-handed batter
and a right-handed pitcher out of the stretch
with 2 strikes and 2 out.
And the bases loaded.
Makes perfect sense.
Bases loaded with a guy with a 1200 OPS.
Yes. That one gets away, so eventually Silva will score. And it's 1-0 UTSA. The wild pitch moves everybody up. And now the count has gone full to Miller after all of this. Rocketed to right. Janusek back. It's turned around. It doesn't matter. That is gone. Caden Miller shoots one out to right. Birds up. All of this coming with 2 outs. And the Road Riders continue to put runs on the board at Dyken Park.
Well, you got to wonder if that wild pitch was still kind of in the back of Cade Hanson's mind, because the ball in the dirt gets away to score the first run, and then you get a changeup that stays up. You got to wonder if he was a little gun shy about really forcing it down into the zone. And when a changeup hangs up out over the plate to a left-handed hitter, that bat path just runs right into it. That's a beautiful swing from Caden Miller. You can't make a mistake to a guy swinging it that well right now.
I'm disappointed that fan couldn't catch that ball in his hat. He gave it the old try, threw the hat up, and there's a ground ball to short off the bat of Detlefson. That was a bizarre inning. Out of all that 4 score, they come with 2 outs. Miller, the 3-run homer. Don't look now, the Roadrunners doing some damage again with the Bruce Bowl College Classic.
There's a big deal going on at Whataburger, like the new Big Ranch Wrap. A crispy chicken strip, buttermilk ranch, cheese, and fresh veggies in a warm tortilla. Or go bigger with 5 premium Whata chicken bites. Or go bigger than big with our Bacon Cheese Whataburger Jr. with fresh 100% beef and melty cheese. Make it even bigger with fries and a drink for a little more. Now that's a big deal. The Whata deal, now at What a Burger. Download the app.
Every shot's lively, every shot means something. You know, really kind of got an energy that's different than a lot of the rest of the course.
There's so many people here, so it's a little bit more than a golf clap.
Well, you're right on top of the action, and it's gotten pretty loud coming through already.
It's nice to see how the professionals play the same holes that we've played. Truly a great experience. It's easily the best hole on the course.
Hey kids, want to be a part of something big? Join the Astros Buddies Club, presented by HEB, the official kids club of the Houston Astros. Members 12 and under get 4 tickets to select Astros games, plus awesome gear, a drawstring bag, a widget hat, socks, shoe charms, and a cool lanyard. You'll also have chances to be a part of exclusive experiences like autograph sessions, clinics, parades, and more. All this for just $45. Sign up at astros.com/buddies and become part of the team today.
Brian, there was just about 10 minutes ago you said when teams are done playing the Roadrunners, they must feel exhausted, certainly their pitchers. That inning was exhausting. 11 foul balls, attempted steal of home, a wild pitch, and then a 3-run homer.
There's a lot to account for when you're facing that UTSA offense. First and foremost, you have to be in the zone because they're not going to chase. They're going to try to affect you on the bases. They're going to throw anything at you that they can possibly think of. And, oh, by the way, they got some guys really swinging it, too.
That, too. That's the problem. This is Cash McDade, who's the DH, 1 for 7 so far in this season. And a lot of Virginia natives in this event this weekend with the different teams. And here's another from Fairfax. Fouls one back to our right, thumping off the sweet area.
Big crooked number in the top half of the inning. You like to see your pitcher come out throwing strikes, get 0-2 on the first hitter.
Connor Miles give up a single in the first, but then got 3 outs on the ground. 5, 6, and 7 this frame for the Baylor Bears. Enter play at 6 and 4. That's up the middle, and again, a couple of guys had a chance at it, Baldwin and Diaz, but no play is made. And McDade has the single.
Tell you what, from what we've seen Connor Miles throwing and what these Baylor hitters have done so far, I'd probably take both the middle infielders and just stick them on second base.
Might not be a bad plan.
Been like 4 balls go right over the mound and bag so far.
Directly over the pitching rubber. Hunter Snow next in, left on left situation. Snow, a couple of hits including a homer and 4 knocked in. Fought off and foul back. Half of their games this year, the Bears have had at least 8 walks at 5 of the 10. And last night against this really good Texas pitching staff, the Longhorns walked 9. I don't know how many more games this year they'll walk 9. I'm guessing it'll be few and far between. And I think it takes a little evaluation. Were they able to work the count? Were they the beneficiaries of maybe some wildness from the Longhorns, but they only mustered 4 hits. That was the problem why they only got the 2 runs.
You know, one of the things that you're concerned with any young hitter, let alone a lineup that features a bunch of freshmen, is how are they going to handle the strike zone? Are they going to be overmatched by the first taste of college pitching? Are they going to be, you know, swinging wildly? But to see them, you know, put up some walk numbers, that's a very good sign because it's very talented hitters.
And that's a wave and a miss. Snow went up and out of the zone. First strikeout for Connor Miles, first out of the inning.
But for Mitch Thompson, when you're projecting out what can this lineup be as you get later into the season or even a year or 2 from now with all these young guys, the talent that they have, if they're getting themselves good pitches to hit, eventually those hit totals and the power totals, it's going to show up in a big way.
Yeah, I think that's what the hope is Brighton Clements bats. Ballpark's not an easy home run park in Waco for the first month or so. Wind might be blowing in, and obviously they face some good competition here, back-to-back weekends. I'm not sure if there's a juncture of the season. It's probably different for every team where you feel like you start to settle in, but it's right about the time you get to conference play, at least it feels like. We were 3 or 4 weeks into the schedule, especially if you played a couple of midweek games. And Clements takes a strike.
There's a couple things that always have to fall in place every season. You got to get just some at-bats under your belt and get everybody comfortable, let things level out, hot streaks, cold streaks, but also just figure out who the guys are, what the lineup construction is, who's at the top, who's at the bottom, who's playing versus lefties, who's playing versus righties. And you have a good idea of it coming into the season, but you never really know until, you know, you play 15 games or so.
No, it's a good point. I also think you reach that juncture of the season, and maybe a week or so away from that point. I'll finish here in a second. Fouled back and out of play. When maybe you start to tinker a little bit. You give a guy a chance to start. He's not playing well. Somebody else deserves a chance. Or maybe you're batting high in the lineup. Now you get dumped down a little bit lower, and you've got enough ABs where you kind of get the feel if a guy needs more or less opportunities.
Everything is fluid, and
wave and a miss for strike 3.
You know, there's not going to be a whole lot of absolutes on any team over the course of a season. You've seen some of the best hitters in the country get moved around the lineup from time to time. So, you know, you always got some adjustments to make, and, you know, a team or a player isn't the same in May as they are in March.
J.J. Kenneth, the catcher, will bat. I would say most teams feel like with 9 regulars, whether it's the same guys or different, that you're never going to have all 9 hitting at the same time unless you're the UTSA Roadrunners. maybe they're the exception with what they've done, but for the most part you'll have a couple of guys kind of fighting it while a few others are coming out. Bears got their leadoff runner on for the 2nd straight inning, but Miles trying to shut him down with 3 straight outs after that again here in the 2nd, as he did in the 1st. UTSA put a 4th spot on the board in the top of this inning in the 2nd. Pitch is dumped out towards shallow right. Will there be a play? That just hung up long enough for Hayworth to get a good break, race in, and make the catch. Off the bat, I wasn't sure, but he tracked it down to end the inning. 3 retired in a row after the single from McDade, and we've completed a couple of innings in our finale of the Bruce Bolt College Classic.
'26 is already heating up, and we're giving you the ultimate head start. Get guaranteed access to the 2026 World Baseball Classic. Secure the best seat locations in Daikin Park. Enjoy 45% savings over single-game ticket prices. Plus, receive significant savings with your exclusive team store discount. And don't forget about your exclusive invite to season ticket holder experiences and events. Visit astros.com/season tickets for more information.
Hey, H-Town, I've been waiting for it, you've been waiting for it, and now it's here.
They finally climbed that hill!
Catch your Rockets and Astros games for just $19.99 per month, or sign up all year for $199.99. That's $40 in savings.
Forget about it!
No cable, no satellite, no contracts. Just download the app and watch your teams.
Stream your teams direct with Space City Home Network Plus. Download today at SCHNplus.com. It's back. Yep, baseball is back. And it's time to warm up with spring training on Space City Home Network. Time to get back in sync with all your favorite players and get to know the new guys too.
What's up, Sean?
Yep, see it all come together. Astros Spring Training is on Space City Home Network. Presented by Whataburger.
From bobbleheads and jerseys to Hello Kitty, Care Bears, and Star Wars nights, there's an experience waiting for everyone. Check out the Astros promotional schedule and get your tickets now at astros.com/promotions. Is the season opener the home opener this year, or do they start on the road?
They start at home. Start at home on a Thursday.
There you go. This is Hayworth. He lined out to left. Snow made a nice running grab in the first. Beginning the third inning as Kate Hansen goes back to work. Hansen was so close to getting out of last inning without any damage done. That one lifted in the air, left center field on the run, back into the gap, and the catch is made by Carraway. We heard about his speed, Brian, and how fast he gets down the line. We got to see it in play in center.
And not necessarily an outfielder by trade. He's an infielder who's moved out to the outfield, but raw speed plays out there in center field, and that was a nice job to go get it in the biggest part of the ballpark.
No doubt. Here's Arquette, grand slam a day ago, but Hansen was so close to getting out of the inning, and then all of a sudden you look up and 4 had scored. That one lined out to left. Arquette will get the 1-out single, his third hit of the weekend.
One of the things that pitchers need to do throughout the course of a game is kind of take stock of what are the hitters doing against me? Do they look comfortable? Are they taking good swings? Where's the ball going? Last couple hitters have gotten the ball elevated and started to hit the ball up in the air a little bit, and Hansen's a guy who wants to keep the ball on the ground, so that should tell you something, that those pitches aren't where you want them.
I think it's well explained, and this is Hallmark, who struck out on a pitch that he was hoping was ball 4 in that second. Another one lifted out to left. Snow will glide towards the line, plenty of room, and make the catcher out number 2. I didn't have the first UTSA game of the weekend with the victory against Ohio State, but I think yesterday in that 16-10 Coastal win, Roadrunners went in order one time in the game, and of course they've not gone in order in this game.
They grind.
They do.
They grind. It's not just a bunch of guys who go up there hacking, and they'll get very aggressive. We saw them come out in the game yesterday, and it was obvious that the plan was we need to swing and we need to swing early. But if you don't throw it in the zone, they're not going to chase it either, and they got a lot of different ways they can get on base.
So the catcher doubled in the second. Rips one, just foul. Armstrong twice today is laid out diving to his right. He thought he had a chance to catch that one. A foul by a few feet.
They went in order twice.
Well, there was a hit that he tried to stretch it to a double, so I gave him credit. There were 3 batters that batted in 1 inning.
Twice in the game against Ohio State,
okay.
But one of them there was a walk and a caught stealing in that inning.
Ooh,
so really one time 3 hitters retired.
Well, that's that's pesky. Again, that's just part of their DNA. And you know, some teams have kind of an approach, but as I mentioned before, you might have a couple of guys kind of scuffling a bit, just not quite completing the trip through the lineup. But right now that's not the case for Coach Hallmark and the Roadrunners.
And it also talks to what kind of players they're recruiting, because a lot of times you have a roster and you might have an overall philosophy, but at the same time you have to play to a player's strength. And if you're saying, hey, we're going to grind out at bats, we're going to work counts, if a hitter's not comfortable doing that, it doesn't benefit anybody to try to kind of square peg in a round hole it. But you know, they go out there and they get guys that fit the program and get guys that buy into the philosophy.
And we know whether it's college recruiting or even players available for the draft. There's a couple of things that get everybody's attention right out of the way, and that's power. And that's power in the box, that's power in the mound. If you're not a big home run hitter per se or have those potential tools, you're not a guy that throws 95, 96, you might slide a little bit. It doesn't mean you're not a good ball player. That one is fair down the line and left off the bat of Silva. It hits the side fence. Arquette around third. He's going to try to score. Here comes the throw. A few bounces, and it's late. And that's a Dyken Park double, and Arquette scores all the way from first. And the Roadrunners back at it. It's 5-0.
That right there is just some good hitting by Jacob Silva, getting on top of that pitch and just shooting it barely inside the line. But it's also understanding the park. And Pat Hallmark, he's the third base coach down there for UTSA, and he saw that ball ricochet back out into left field and didn't see shortstop Travis Sanders chasing it, and he was waving the runner. As soon as he came around second, he knew he was going to send him.
That throw had too many bounces, and UTSA has scored another run with 2 outs. Diego Diaz hit an infield single, and he hits one a mile in the air down the line and right into the corner near the foul pole, and it will bend to the right. Diego Diaz is not a big guy, but he was making a bid for his 3rd home run of the season. Impromptu mound visit, and that dugout's hooting and hollering for the Roadrunner.
And this mound visit here, this is just going to be a little reminder of where you want to get the ball, and it's not up in the zone. If you're a sinker slider guy and all of a sudden everything's going up in the air and the ball's finding the top of the zone, you've got to find a little bit of a reset. And what that is, it could be forcing the sinker down further than down. It could be using the breaking ball to kind of find that release point out front. But Cade Hansen's got to find a way to get the ball back in the bottom half of the zone and back onto the ground.
So 5 runs on 5 hits for the Roadrunners. After the visit, Diaz waiting on a 0-1 pitch. Another one popped up, but this may not be an easy play either. Snow on the run. This ball might drop. It will drop. And with a collision, it's going to lead to another run. Diaz in no man's land between second and third, and the Bears mercifully will end the inning. But a couple of balls in no man's land this half inning.
There are just some spots where everybody feels like they got a chance, but nobody gets there.
Watch this ball land. Bears on the deck. Bowling pins knocking down. And all of a sudden it led to another run, and it's been all Roadrunners early.
Sleep keeps me up at night. It's true, mattresses are my life's work. Before the showrooms, there was just me and this factory. We've studied every part of your mattress, every fabric, every coil, every stitch. Those details are what build Texas mattress makers. Every little thing that goes into making a great mattress.
Save 25% on top-selling mattresses. Plus, queen mattresses starting at $5.99.
We do one thing. We create the best mattresses in Texas.
Bold are the adventurous. Determined are the leaders. Faithful are the healers. At Baylor, you'll find your calling, your people, and your purpose. Dare to be you, indeed.
Back here at Dyken Park in the bottom of the third inning, UTSA scores in the top half of the inning for the second time in a row, open up the 6-0 lead, and Connor Miles back out there for UTSA now with a pretty big lead, just trying to settle in and get the ball in play.
Let's watch Caraway run. Easy bouncer for Diaz. And there's one gone. Travis Sanders has one of the 2 hits for the Baylor Bears. Does feel like the Bears need to find a way to get back into this one.
Absolutely. They just need something to start going their way. It seems like every ball's just a bit out of their reach. Everything's going right for UTSA. If you can find a way to put a big swing on the ball or scratch a run or two across, just something to shift the momentum a little bit. It just feels like it's all UTSA right now.
Connor Miles trying to settle in. That's just the 9th pitch he's missed on of the 35 he's thrown.
It's one of the things you hope for from a veteran starting pitcher is if you give him a little bit of a lead, let him go get really aggressive.
Yeah, boy, good.
You know, we talked about some of the differences between college ball and pro ball. And listen, I'm a big proponent of both, but I've seen college baseball just get really good over the last 5 or 10 years and player development and whatnot. But at the end of the Texas-Ohio State game, sometimes it's the ability to finish off hitters when you're up 0-2, 1-2. It's the ability to finish off innings rather than kind of fall into an erratic stretch. Sometimes another area of difference is, you know, your team's up 6-0 and you want to come out there and just kind of get outs. And that's where all of a sudden you let a team back in because you're going to put a couple of guys on base. I'll see if Miles lives up to that or whether he can continue to cruise. Doesn't want to walk a hit. He does. So, you know, the last thing you want to do is provide Baylor a little bit of hope if they're going to climb back into this one and fight back here in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. And part of that is just kind of the smaller sample that is college baseball when you're playing, you know, just over 50 games a season. You know, professional players have 50 games under their belt a couple months in, and they just get to see so much more. So you understand situational baseball a little bit better. A lot of times as college kids, everything feels the same level of intensity, the same level of I got to go out there and just throw the best pitch I possibly can in every situation. Sometimes in pro ball, you're in the situation where it's like, hey, I'm just going to kind of split the plate in half and throw strikes and let the defense work and just live with it.
I would agree. Pearson Reebok dropped in a sacrifice bunt in the first. Nice job by Silva to smother that baseball. So a couple of singles for the Bears. They did get a walk from Sanders, though, who seemingly is on base all the time. And he's been on twice today. And he's reached base in 16 straight games going back to last year. So it's a good guy to have at the top of the lineup. Would you run Sanders down 6 runs against the lefty?
Would I?
Well,
I would not.
That's kind of a leading question. I apologize, Your Honor. I'll rephrase. That one's fouled back and out of play. Were you surprised he threw to first base up 6-0 with a rather short lead for Sanders?
No, but you know why? Because UTSA would be thinking about running.
They would. You're right. As much as we were talking about pitchers kind of providing teams an opportunity to get back in it, the last thing I think you would want to do offensively is run yourself out of that potential inning.
Absolutely. If you're going to do anything from an aggressiveness standpoint, when you're trying to fight your way back into a game, you've got to be 100%. You've got to know I'm going into second base standing up if you're going to take off.
Pretty good looking pitch. Count's gone full. Swinging a little tapper foul. UTSA trying to win all 3 games this weekend. They would join the Texas Longhorns as undefeated Bruce Bowl College Classic teams. Coastal got out of here with a win today, and Ole Miss had just the one win in 3 games. Baylor's hanging out there at 1-1.
You and I did that Coastal game yesterday, and we were talking about potential moral victory type situations.
Shot out to left. Detlefson there to make the catch, and there's 2 outs. And I thought of you today, too, because it felt like they did piece something together late that carried over today.
Yeah, their bats in the second half of that game yesterday afternoon looked much better than what we had seen early. An offense that was really sputtering to start the season, and all of a sudden they came out today against an Ole Miss team that has really thrown the ball well all weekend and scored a bunch of runs. So, you never know when it's going to turn.
Be a long trip back to South Carolina had they gone 0-3, considering all the adversity they faced this week, as Armstrong takes ball 1. But on the other hand, I don't know if the Rebels felt real good about their weekend either. One of the 2 SEC teams. Pitch is high to Armstrong.
All you, Tuss, all you.
Armstrong bounced out to second in his only at bat. Wanted to swing, held back on the curve, and took a strike. Armstrong 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts last night against the Texas Longhorns. Three and 1 the count. Wave and a miss to the high one. That would have been ball 4.
Well, you can see that Armstrong's really keyed in on a fastball, right? You got the 2-0 breaking ball that was down the middle but didn't want to pull the trigger on it. Then he got the 3-1 fastball that was up out that he was trying to jump all over. That's a guy sitting dead red. See if he can adjust and kind of get in between here.
I don't think I'd throw him the fastball, but he didn't, but it missed. So a couple of walks this inning.
You really got to try to lock in here. Connor Miles, you got the big lead. You put yourself in a situation with a couple runners on base where all of a sudden Baylor can get back in the game with one swing, one mistake pitch. You got to try to get out of this inning clean. Otherwise, you're going to be kicking yourself.
Janusek, the cleanup hitter, takes one a little bit high for a ball.
The other side of that is, if you're Baylor, you've been kind of just handed an opportunity to get back into the game. You gotta keep it going. You got to try to take advantage, get something jump started.
In the air to right. Hayworth over into the corner. Now back. Goodness gracious. The wind worked that maybe back a little bit, and he hung with it. A left-handed right fielder made the play. Couple of walks, couple of runners left. Been all birds through 3. Against the best.
What do you know about this baseball? Where samurai swing bats. Here, teammates become opponents. Anyone can be a superhero. And stadiums become orchestras. This is baseball, with nothing held back. Expect everything.
Vacationing is an art. and the Palm Beaches are your canvas. Stroll along sun-soaked beaches. Unwind at boutique resorts. Explore hidden and not so hidden gems. Here you'll discover a lifestyle that's nothing short of a masterpiece. Curate your perfect collection of experiences in the Palm Beaches.
3 innings complete. Kate Hansen's going back out to the mound, trailing 6-0. Roadrunners got 4 in the second. Added a couple of runs in the third in what was a very quick inning. But the ball's put in play in that third.
You can be a patient offense without being a passive offense. Patience to get good pitches to hit, but if they show up, it doesn't matter if it's the first pitch.
No, I like that. I mean, it's one thing to want to work counts and be patient, but you don't want to pass on cookies either. Pitches you feel like you might be able to put in play. Palmer up there hacking early for strike 1.
Well, and also, if you want to be somebody who goes up there and walks a lot and gets on base a lot, the first thing you have to do is establish with the opposing pitcher that if he throws it down the middle, you're going to hit it. You got to start getting them trying to hit corners to get them to walk you.
Palmer loops one out to left, and Snow is there. He's been busy. Makes the catch. There's 1 out. Jordan Bolin, next man in. He was hit by a pitch in that second, and it came with 2 outs, and then there was the wild pitch, and then there was the 3-run homer, and UTSA all of a sudden put a 4 spot on the board in a blink of an eye. And misses a little bit in. It's going to be curious to maybe look up in a month or 2 and see where this UTSA team is. I think I have a pretty good idea. I think they're going to be really good. Dumped out to left, and it's down. It'll be cut off by Snow to keep Bolin at first with a 1-out single.
There's a lot of firepower in this offense. They're going to go into conference play, and they're going to have a lot of ways to beat teams. The one thing that you have to worry about, just the way baseball is and the nature of the game, there's ebbs and flows. And right now everybody's hot, which means there's a chance that everything levels off at the same time too.
Certainly it'll be a challenge. They'll go on the road to A&M Corpus Christi Tuesday, then to New Mexico State for 3, then to Texas Tech midweek before they come home to get UT Arlington on the 13th. That'll do it for Hansen. Mitch Thompson out to make a pitching change with 1 on, 1 out in the 4th inning. 6-0 UTSA in front in Game 9 of the College Classic.
APR for up to 48 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days on the purchase of a new 2026 Sportage.
Space City Home Network and Academy Sports and Outdoors are proud to celebrate Black History Month. Moses once said, "You ain't done it till you've done it at Fondy." Because the truth is, if you've truly made a name for yourself in the echoes of Houston basketball, chances are, at some point, you did it here at Fondy.
Reliant is the home of free electricity, so your home can be the home of epic bedtime stories. Beginning with the Flex Your Credits electricity plan, which gives you your 2 highest use days free every week automatically. And for a plot twist, you also get $200 in bill credits for even more savings. You could say we help put the happy and happily ever after. The Flex Your Credits electricity plan from Reliant, official energy provider of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo.
Kate Hansen done after 3 1/3 innings. A couple of pitches really kind of tilted this outing in a different direction than he would have liked. And Luke DeVasier is on to pitch. He is a junior from Mansfield, Texas, through Tyler Juco.
DeVasier, the righty, kind of an over-the-top delivery, low 90s fastball, slider, changeup, He's had 4 appearances on the season, only 3 2/3 innings in here in a situation where he's probably going to be asked to give Baylor a little bit of length, so maybe we get pushed a little bit further than he has so far this year.
See his numbers on the season. A couple of years at Tyler JC, 27 appearances and a 2.22 ERA. He's going to get the top of the lineup, and Caden Miller, who hit the 3-run homer in that second inning that allowed the Roadrunners to jump out to a nice big lead early. Up there hacking is Caden Miller. Pitch up and in. UTSA has started to grow a program, not just with that super regional appearance, but also a big series from an attendance standpoint. Not a big park, but they had more than 1,000, more than 3,000 for the weekend against DBU. And you know, we've seen the growth of college baseball even since your time, and watched it grow in this region or the SEC, but it's now spread to different programs too outside the power conferences. Way in, 3-1.
You can feel when programs get momentum behind them, especially when you're talking about schools outside the Power 4 conferences where football isn't the end-all be-all. You make a decent run in the postseason, all of a sudden you get the fans behind you, you get recruiting kind of lined up a little bit, and you can do some things for a couple years.
It's ball 4. So Miller will walk. Yeah, it's certainly an easier sell from the recruiting standpoint. I mean, fans, it's a pro city in San Antonio, but seeing them with their football team support it. Softball had a big weekend where they brought in some ranked teams right out of the gates, and baseball had their big series as well. And who knows, maybe at some point they'll be able to expand that facility, but for the most part it's been fun to watch this growth, and this year I think might have a chance to be every bit as good as last year. It's really hard to get to a super. It doesn't matter if you're a power team or not. As Detlefson rockets one to right field, Janasek back. He's not going to get there, but he does play the carom nicely. Here comes the throw into second base. We get a bit of a traffic jam. The throw home, not in time. Baldwin found a way to score. Another close play at the plate. Detlefson, though, rocketed that off the fence. It's a 7-0 game, and Janusek, though, had a chance by playing that hard carom to create some issues.
Janusek made a really nice play fielding that ball, getting it back in a hurry. Ballin got a little bit of a late break, not quite sure if Janusek was going to be able to run it down, and you know, it was a ball that split the gap and still a bang play at the plate.
So 7-0 UTSA. And now it's the big boppers in this lineup, Hayworth and Arquette. Lifted to left. This one's got a little bit of carry. Snow back on the track in front of the high fence. He'll make the catch. Miller will tag and score. It's an 8-0 Roadrunner advantage on the sac fly from Hayworth.
That is a very mature at-bat and approach right there from Hayworth. Swinging the bat really well. There's all this momentum. You can feel sometimes guys get up there, they really want to overswing and try to hit the big 3-run homer. It just takes a pitch that's up out over the plate, serves it out to left field, take your RBI, move on, put another run on the board.
I was going to say the same thing. Just take your RBI, just keep it moving. Here's Arquette. Single he scored last inning. 8 runs on 8 hits. So that means, Brian, you were with me for the Coastal game. That is 24 runs in 13 innings. That's good.
They put it on you in a hurry. And different ways.
That's exactly right. And there's a wave and a miss, but different innings and different ways to score runs within those innings.
Seen grand slams. I've seen a couple innings where they've scored runs without recording a hit in the inning. Sacrifice fly, take what the pitcher gives you. A lot of ways to score runs, and they do it all.
Hey, keep working, let's go. Keep working, let's go.
DeVasier has walked a batter, given up a double. Recorded the sac fly, got it out. Never really did get the feel of that curveball. I was saying before, though, listen, it's hard to get to a super regional. It doesn't matter if you're a Big 12 school, a SEC school, a power program. I mean, obviously, you got to get to a regional, then win it. So for UTSA to go to Austin, win that regional was pretty amazing. You get to the super. It's hard to say, hey, we got there last year, let's do it again. But there's a lot of momentum again behind this program where I don't think you want to see them in your regional whenever that time comes in late May.
No, absolutely you don't. And, you know, the most dangerous teams that you'll see in that type of situation are teams who really know who they are and what their identity is and how they need to go out there and win. It's not just let's roll it out there and see, because you're not going to necessarily match up from a talent standpoint.
Wave and a miss on the 3-2 pitch, and that will end the inning. Roadrunners, though, tack on 2 more runs. All UTSA to this point up 8-zip.
Home to Dyken Park.
And that ball is gone! Aaron Smith. Christian Walker Winston and the Astros win it in a walk-off.
They don't ask for style points.
Can the Rockets pull off a dramatic win tonight?
Just results. When it matters most, this team finds a way.
Shepard throws it up to Chris Capella, who throws it down.
Every stop matters. Every possession, a battle. Because one play can change everything. It's back. Yep, baseball is back. And it's time to warm up with spring training on Space City Home Network. Time to get back in sync with all your favorite players and get to know the new guys too.
What's up, Sean?
Yep, see it all come together. Astros Spring Training is on Space City Home Network. Presented by Whataburger.
Good place to hang out if you're Bobby Dynamite up in the train. By the way, more than 19,000 followers on X. Brett and Brian, 2 guys who share the same birthday. I've got him by a few years. But we might have a couple of 3-0 teams this weekend. The Texas Longhorns, they're done. 3 wins. UTSA on their way.
And UTSA, this is really a test yourself weekend. Find out a little bit about yourselves. They had their first test of the season last week against Dallas Baptist. Passed that with a sweep, and now they're coming out here trying to have another 3-0 weekend, and they look really impressive.
Sure do. And I think what Connor Miles wants to keep doing is just putting up a few more zeros. Worked around a couple of base runners, a couple of walks last inning. He'll look at McDade, Snow, and Clements in the Baylor 4th. McDade getting the starting assignment as the DH. Singled back in the second, but he will strike out to begin the 4th inning. One of 3 Ks so far tonight for Connor Miles.
Connor Miles not messing around, wasting any time. Throws a good breaking ball for the swing and miss, but it wasn't a chase pitch. That pitch would have been called strike 3 had it been laid off of, but just go out there, get ahead, put away, get ahead, put away. That is your job right now.
Here's Hunter Snow, a strikeout victim back in the second. Off the fist, he'll roll one to second. Diaz there to scoop and flip, and that was close at third. No, it was called safe. Was the foot not on the base, or did Snow just simply beat it?
I don't think he beat it. I think the call was no foot on the base.
I mean, it was going to be close one way or another because Snow came out and was sprinting towards first. But if you're the road runners, you're like, we need to make that an out. We got to get that, make that play.
Caden Miller was a little bit late getting back to the bag. He initially broke to go try to get that ball, was kind of searching for the bag a little bit, but it looks on the replay like it wasn't really that close.
That to me, oh goodness, where's the toe? I mean, it should be out, but
he's out.
You're definitive through the blur, and I like that about you. You don't mess around. You're like, good enough, let's go.
Scoreboard also comes into play in my judgment.
I would say so too. I would say that looks out to me. It was not a lengthy review. Snow is out. Brian had that right out of the gates. No problem. Brighton Clements next in. Freshman from Laredo, struck out as well in the second and takes strike one. This next pitch will be number 60 for Connor Miles. Tag to the gap in left center field. This ball's got a chance to get up off the bullpen screen, and it does. Clements will coast to second base with the 2-out double. Probably the best struck ball of the night for the Baylor Bears, maybe in a couple of nights.
It's the first ball that's really been driven tonight by Baylor, and you got to understand what the pitcher's doing. And right now, Connor Miles is kind of in a groove, just pumping strike one, pumping strike two. You better go up there and be ready to swing. You don't want to find yourself in a hole. That's a nice swing for Clements.
Sure is. He's probably saying at Baylor that might have been a home run.
There's a lot of places where you'll get rewarded in this park. Left center field is a tough place to deal with.
That's not one. Billy. J.J. Kenneth, the catcher, bats 8. He's a Louisiana native. Last night, Buchanan was the catcher for the Baylor Bears. Little tapper in front of the plate. It's not going to be an easy play for Silva, but he has had quite a game today. He had to cover some ground to make that play. Inning ends, Bears strand a runner. 4 complete. 8 love. Roadrunners in front.
Having various specialists in different fields collaborating to take care of patients gives you the unique advantage to see a different perspective from a physical therapist's perspective of sports injury recovery, from a surgical perspective, and then from a primary care sports medicine perspective, which is what I do, kind of blending those fields all together, having a multidisciplinary approach really helps patients heal faster, get back to what they love to do.
What do you know about this baseball? Where samurai swing bats. Here, teammates become opponents. Anyone can be a superhero. And stadiums become orchestras. This is baseball, with nothing held back.
Get Astros updates and offers on your phone. Receive exclusive Astros news, pre-sales, content, and more by signing up for Astros text messages. Text Astros to 26099 to join today. Do that right now as we go to the top of the 5th inning. 8-0 UTSA in front. Christian Hallmark, who's 0 for 2, will lead off. Well, he has been kept off the bases to this point. He'll draw the attention of Clements at third, who's creeping in. As DeVasier will deliver, and that ball's bunted first base side, and he beats it out. DeVasier got there, but he had a hard time getting much on that flip, but it went into Christian Hallmark, who gets the bunt hit. Start the 5th inning.
He's had a couple of bunt hits this weekend on the right side, right? Not dropping it down the third base line, beating a shift type of bunts, but he went kind of into the no man's land Bermuda Triangle yesterday. That one he just placed perfectly down the line where the pitcher has a long way to go and he can just outrun it. That's a skill. That's something that has to really be worked on, and it takes a lot of work to be able to bunt like that.
Jacob Silvas had a big night. Couple of doubles, couple of runs scored. I would say what was unique about that bunt, though, for Hallmark, he's looking at Clements, the third baseman, who's creeping in, and it looks like he's ready to sprint in, and he says, all right, I'll just go first base side and beat you. All right, in the college game, when it's 8-0 in the 4th inning, at what point would you say we're not going to run, and at which point will you say we're just going to keep doing what we do? Is there a magic number in your mind?
I don't think there's a magic number, but there's a lot of things that you have to consider. First of all, what is your style of play and how do you operate? And are you just going to kind of take guys' weapons away from them and how they contribute? I don't think that's fair to your players to do so, too early. You also have to consider, what do you have left from a pitching standpoint, right? We're in the Sunday game, and do you need to try to push it a little bit and maybe play for that run rule situation where you don't have to use a couple of more arms? Are you worried that maybe once you get into the pen, all of a sudden a couple crooked numbers can go up and it's a game? So, I think especially with this amount of outs left, Baylor still has 15 outs to work with. You keep playing your game.
I would say so too. I think if it's 8-0 and it's the 7th inning, it might be a different conversation. Silva puts another one in play in foul territory. Clements has some room. He'll make the catch for the first out. But it is a different conversation from that standpoint from the college game to the pro game, I think.
Well, absolutely. And just from a numbers standpoint, there's so many more runs scored. Double-digit runs is not all that out of the norm in college baseball. If you're moving into the program or into the pro game, it's a big ask to go out there and make up an 8-run deficit. But if you can get deep into a college bullpen, you can score some runs in a hurry.
You can. Diaz tried to check but didn't. Softball's the one where they have a run rule after 5 innings or 6 innings or 7 innings, and it's become a game similar to college baseball where you're trying to do damage. You're no longer trying to bunt run. You're trying to hit home runs, and sometimes you're like, 8 runs after 5 is not out of the question. I mean, you could have a 6, 7, 8 run inning. I think Oklahoma had a 21 inning the other day, by the way. But, it's possible, and you could get some shorter games, which is also possible here at the baseball level, where you can put forth a big, ugly inning that the game might look like it's out of reach, and then one frame could kind of change that perception.
You also have to take into account schedule. When are you playing in the midweek this week? Are you playing on a Tuesday night? I think UTSA does play on Tuesday, so you've got a little bit of a quick turnaround. If you could save a couple of arms, that's a big deal.
I like how you're thinking. I'm with you. It's always that balance between, hey, we got a couple of guys, this would be a great opportunity to throw them, versus let's make sure we don't overextend ourselves too, because we have more games coming up, road trips. 1-1 is down and out to Diaz, who's trying to pick up his 3rd hit of the game.
My favorite number coming into this game has to do with Diego Diaz and his 1074 OPS coming into play today. the second lowest in the lineup.
Come on.
1074 OPS for Diego Diaz to start the game today. Good for 8th in this lineup.
It'll get you in the lineup. It won't get you high in the lineup.
Didn't get Andrew Stuckey in the lineup.
Good point. 4 hits and a homer yesterday. That's down in the dirt. Sometimes I feel like maybe from a catching standpoint, you go into a weekend and say, well, I'm going to catch this guy 2 and I'm going to catch my other guy 1. And then he goes out and has an awesome game offensively. And you're like, man, I kind of planned on starting my second catcher. I would imagine Hallmark would run here. He does. Payoff pitch. It's high. Another base runner for the Roadrunners. Again, they need to plug in Christian Hallmark at night with all the PitchCom devices just to make sure he's fully charged for the next day. Brock Palmer's 0 for 2.
And all throughout the weekend, anytime Christian Hallmark is on second base, he is just immediately dancing out there. You have to stop him. As a pitcher, you have to get your eyes on him and make sure he is flat-footed before you deliver the ball.
That's interesting. You don't want him to get that hop and then just get to that point where he's like, I've hopped so many times, I might as well go.
He'll walk right into it. He did it last night. He was kind of shuffle, walking. They never stopped him, and all of a sudden, he's gone to third base.
On the ground to first. This is going to be a tough throw. I know they wanted a lead runner. It just felt like that Diaz was far enough along, Brian, where Armstrong's throw might just not be able to be caught.
The throw probably gets him if it's completed, but at the same time, if it's bang like that, you should just go to first base and take the sure route and go with 2 outs, because now you're susceptible to this whole thing getting blown open. But again, another kind of small thing that a team does well. Diego Diaz running to second base right there, ran at the glove. You know, you are going to the base, but at the same time, when you see the infielder going to catch that ball, try to get in between ball and glove and see if you can kind of force a drop.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a veteran savvy play. Jordan Ballin has been on a couple of times, so swing and foul one back and out of play. If I got this right, a bunt hit, a walk, a fielder's choice, and an error. And they've loaded them up. They haven't hit the ball more than about 70 feet. This will not be deep enough. You wouldn't think.
You sure about
that? Then again, Hallmark's at third. I'm not so sure. That throw is offline, and he scores. I should have reconsidered who was running. It's Snow. I'm not sure if Snow came up ready to throw.
He was tagging as soon as it went up in the air. And you're right. I don't know that Hunter Snow was anticipating Christian Hallmark even breaking, let alone going. But you can get that initial go from third base, and then the play's going to be right in front of you. You see the cutoff man, the third baseman, is right in front of you, and if you don't see the ball coming into play and him making that cut, you just keep on going to home.
And how about Diaz going from second to third on a shallow fly ball to left field in which the play didn't even come home?
Well, and he was going to stop. He was going to do the thing where he gets himself hung up to ensure that the run scores, and they didn't even go back behind him and get him out.
Miller rolls one to first. Armstrong will flip to first for the final out. Unearned run for the Roadrunners, but one nonetheless. So it's 9-0 UTSA. Halfway done in Game 9 from the Bruce Bowl College Classic.
Recently helped a couple buy their dream home even before selling their current one. HomeLight's Buy Before You Sell program was a game changer. They were able to buy and sell on their own schedule. It was so easy, and they were thrilled.
Plan your family fun in the ultimate playground at visitcalifornia.com.
Fences are failing all over the park. John, I can't get Jurassic Park back online without...
Whoa, this place is awesome. By the way, you should have plugged this in.
Well, this is going to be a lovely weekend.
If you like pina colada.
I'll take it. My arms are longer. Do the roar again.
A whole new species of Wi-Fi at the same price for 5 years.
I'd say those young men still having a pretty good time. Something along those lines.
They've got to be UTSA fans.
They have the movement of UTSA fans. That constant movement. Anyhow, Baylor finds that deficit growing. They're going to send up Caraway, Sanders, and Reebok against Miles. Caraway's fast, but he's not going to be that fast with a bunt a couple of feet in front of the plate.
That's one of those, you see it go out in front of the plate and you just drop your head like, ah.
I want to kick it.
Did you just stay in the box?
Travis Sanders has one of the 3 Baylor hits in this game. So Baylor a night ago scored a couple of runs, but they left 11 on base. And I know that was kind of frustrating. They made 4 errors. They left 11 on. So they had some chances, even though, again, they're facing really good pitching staff in the Texas Longhorns. They're trying to get more runners on. That was not a problem in your son's game today, by the way.
It's about 40 runs combined. Pitcher's duel. Pinto baseball.
Coach pitch?
Yes.
All right. That's some pressure.
That is a job that you don't want.
Start sweating when you start missing a little bit around the zone. You're like, I'm crushing this kid's spirit.
Last one and my hands shaking.
Start to grip it a little bit tighter. What was the final score today? The kids' game?
28-19.
Okay. That's a college classic field score to it.
We've had some. We've had some like that.
There's the 1-2 to Sanders, and that's up and out. You might need 2 juice boxes at the end of a 28-19 game. I mean, one might not do it. Those are the days, though. I mean, you know, we're in such a hurry to see these kids grow up so we can play travel ball and high school ball, college and whatnot. But those are the fun ones. I don't think Baylor's having as much fun tonight as they would like.
No, this is a team that stayed real competitive in the first 2 games. Kind of falling apart here.
There's a ground ball to third. Scoop by Arquette. His throws in time, 2 outs. And that's something Mitch Thompson has talked about. Hey, we're in every game. A couple didn't go our way. I know they'd like to have that Purdue game back. They were happy with the win against Ole Miss, but this is one of those games. It's been kind of the outlier, and that's what makes it less pleasing for the head Bear.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're going to lose games. It happens. But if you're in the games and you're competitive, and you kind of point to 1 or 2 things and say, hey, if this goes our way, or if we make this play, you know, we maybe could get a win. These kind of games, there's not a whole lot you can take away from it from a positive standpoint.
Baylor using an offensive timeout before Reebok bats. I would encourage Michael Durantis to end this offensive timeout. Here we go.
So back to my son's game today real quick.
Please hit me. I need the details.
There's kids, you know, lightning bolts everywhere. Bruce Bolt batting
gloves. Is that right? Good.
Wristbands, arm sleeves. I told the kids, I said, hey, you know who I met yesterday? I met Bruce Bolt. They said, you did? I said, well, that's not an actual person, but yeah, I met the Bruce Bolt guy. You'd have thought I told him I met Babe Ruth.
Yes, no, you're right. or the bear at Chuck E. Cheese or whatever the case may be. But Reebok bats. No, I can see that. I can see the kids getting excited. Good pitch for a strike. Bruce Bolt has been a nice addition to this event. That's right down the chute for a called strike. There's more competition in this space. It used to be for a number of years. This was kind of the premier event because it was the event. Then Globe Life got involved. I know Vegas has had one. They put one in Jacksonville, and Arizona's had some early season activity with some games televised by MLB. But I think the length of time this event has been around in their history still puts it at that top spot for me.
I think also one of the unique things about this tournament is how many really quality programs are kind of, I guess, what you would consider almost a home team. There's a lot of UT grads, A&M grads, U of H grads, Rice grads, Tech grads, like all of those schools. People end up living in Houston, so those schools come through to play in this tournament, and the crowds show up.
Good point. Big alumni bases. Wave and a miss by Reebok. Connor Miles could not be stopped that inning. Cruises through a perfect fifth. On we go to the sixth and the finale of this event. 9-0 UTSA.
Hey, H-Town, I've been waiting for it, you've been waiting for it, and now it's here.
They finally climbed that hill!
Catch your Rockets and Astros games for just $19.99 per month, or sign up all year for $199.99. That's $40 in savings.
Forget about it!
No cable, no satellite, no contracts. Just download the app and watch your teams.
Stream your teams direct with Space City Home Network Plus. Download today at SCHNplus.com. It's back. Yep, baseball is back. And it's time to warm up with spring training on Space City Home Network.
Swing and a miss.
Time to get back in sync with all your favorite players and get to know the new guys too.
What's up, Sean?
Yep, see it all come together. Astros Spring Training is on Space City Home Network. Presented by Whataburger.
Got some road runners in the building. They've enjoyed their team's weekend. Certainly this game leading 9-0 as we go to the top of the sixth inning. UTSA trying to improve to 10-1. Their one loss came in a midweek game at Texas State where they fell 7-2. Meanwhile, the Bears have gone to the bullpen again. Braden Bergman from Parker, Texas, and Plano East High School on the pitch.
Redshirt freshman, so another young player who's being asked to contribute to this Baylor team, and he's got a power arm. He'll get it up there into the mid-90s, and kind of a north and south pitcher, over the top delivery, curveball up and down, changeup, and another guy coming out of the pen for his third appearance, and maybe the opportunity to give a little bit of length if he can have some success.
He'll look at the heart of the lineup for the Roadrunners. Detlefson, Hayworth, and Arquette. 9 runs on 9 hits for UTSA. They've had a 4-run inning, a couple of 2-run frames, got a run last inning on a bunt hit, a walk, a fielder's choice in air, and a sacrifice fly that went about 200 feet. Detlefson's had a couple of home runs this weekend. RBI double in the 4th. Bounce one back over our heads to the right, now to play. Rocketed foul down the line and right, now to play. One thing the Baylor bullpen did do last night was throw 5 scoreless innings in relief. I think they'd like to put up some zeros now that we've gotten a couple of pitchers into this pen. After Hansen went 3 1/3 in the start. There's that batting helmet again from Detlefsen.
Come on, Berg.
I'd say it's seen better days, but it's a warrior. It's a survivor. Another free base. Second time in this game he's been hit by a pitch.
That's 3 now for UTSA hit by pitches, and 3 times where a batter has not made much of an effort to get out of the way.
That was an easier take on that one.
Don't need to, yeah.
Hayworth had a sac fly in the 4th inning. One of a couple of sacrifice flies in this game. Kenneth sets that one a little bit in, but the pitch misses the target, but it still gets that outside corner. Ball and a strike to Hayworth. Went after a high one and fouled it back. Roadrunners in that 16-10 win yesterday against Coastal Carolina had 18 hits. They finished with 5 home runs in the game. They just kept coming at one point.
He can score in a hurry too. It's a bad feeling for a pitcher when it feels like the game's moving really quickly. And they can go from nothing going to you're in a lot of trouble in a hurry.
Hayworth, as Brian mentioned, 25 starts, 25 at bats a year ago for Wichita State. Will bounce another one into right for a base hit. So he's now 1 for 3. Detlefsen will advance to second and hold there. And hits keep on coming. It'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Josh Arquette.
Bergman's found a little bit of success at the top of the zone, but at the same time you've got a very slim margin up there. You might get a swing and a miss or a foul ball early in an at bat, but if you miss down just a little bit, it's a pitch that a guy can get on top of.
Arquette will swing at the first one again and foul it back. He singled and scored in the 3rd. He's 1 for 3. A Pinolda junior college product. 10 home runs a year ago in the JUCO ranks. Talking about those home runs yesterday, he had the grand slam in the 3rd inning. But Bergman jumps ahead, 0-2. Wave it a miss. Bergman did some carving there and gets the first out.
A couple good curveballs for strike 2 and strike 3, and not just a lot of movement, but also a real change of speed. It's down there 75, 74 miles an hour for a guy throwing 92, 93. So not only are you missing the break, but you're also way out in front of that pitch.
Felt like that. Here's Hallmark. Bunt single. Scored in the 5th. Essence of manufacturing a run for the Roadrunners, or just adding on. Turned it into a 9-0 game. I got a question regarding Hallmark. I'll wait to this pitch from Bergman. Considering his game, Brian, do you see him as a leadoff or a 2-hole hitter? with how he gets on base and what he likes to do?
I think it depends on the construction of the rest of the lineup. I think, yes, he fits in that traditional on base, create, make something happen, what you traditionally think of as a table setter. But when you've got a lineup that's also this deep of, you know, guys who can drive the ball out of the ballpark, who also get on base at a high clip, I don't think you necessarily have to force that. He's also kind of a high contact guy, so if you're talking about a lineup that's going to have a ton of traffic on the bases, a high contact guy a little bit further down in the order is also somebody that can be, you know, more of a run producer for not a traditional power type hitter.
Yeah, I think he could. You know, you put the ball in play, and maybe you're going to beat out some balls on the ground that otherwise might be outs to continue innings. Get a little bit deeper in some of the frames. He's down here in the count 1-2. That one's spiked. It'll be a free base for both runners. Detlefs into third. Hayworth to second on the wild pitch.
I think you also have to consider that right now he's only 10 games into his Division I career. He spent a year in junior college. Now he comes in to the program. You know, what's he going to be in a year or two? Is his power going to become more of a part of his game or not? I think, you know, you're not looking at a finished product by any means.
Well, there's another breaking ball and another strike three. So Bergman's helped his own cause by getting a couple of strikeouts this inning. Jacob Silva, next man in. Couple of doubles, a pair of runs scored, knocked in a run as well. Popped to third in his last at bat. Pretty good pitch to hit, but Silva takes it for strike one.
Down the zone, Bergie. Out of bag.
Silva's hit the ball the other way a couple times, but because UTSA has shown so much aggression on the bases and the potential steal of home that they tried, Clements at third base is still having to somewhat hold the runner on, so that left side is a little bit open.
Shot to the screen above the dugout. The local product, San Antonio native, albeit with a year at TCU under his belt.
Best pitch, Bergie, best pitch.
Second, third, two gone.
Yeah.
Did he check on a high one? He did check. Quick appeal to Eric Gaucher at third, said no swing. Seen a couple of check swings even today in which the hitter has had really no intent to swing, but he's kind of turned his body trying to get out of the way and kind of wrap that bat just far enough to be rung up. Wave and a miss. So Bergman gets the 3 Ks after the hit batter in the single. Roadrunners strand a couple of runners. Bears need to find some offense in the bottom of the 6th.
Talent and teamwork. Big thinking and bold action. When the right elements combine, something amazing happens. UT San Antonio brings a world-class academic health center and a top-tier research university together, creating a force for excellence in education, discovery, and care. Making bold ambitions real. Your ambition has a place, and it's here.
To test the toughness of the Kia Sorento X-Pro and the Kia Sorento Turbo Hybrid, we recreated some of the wettest springs, hottest summers, windiest falls, and coldest winters to prove these 3-row SUVs were built for the unstoppable. Get 0% APR for up to 48 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days on the purchase of a new 2026 Sorento.
Hey, lace up and join the run. Astros race to the pennant presented by Houston Methodist is Houston's newest 5K and 10K set to start and end at Dyken Park on May 2nd. Visit Astros.com/race to register now. This game moves into the bottom of the 6th inning. A Houston kid, Gunnar Brown from Episcopal High School, is on to work after 5 good innings from Connor Miles. Senior righty. He's made 4 appearances so far this year. He's actually made a start, so starters repertoire stretched out a little bit. Probably the thinking here is, hey, if we can get out of here using only 2 pitchers, it's probably a pretty good situation. That's Gunnar Brown's kind of job that he's tasked with right here, is see if he can close this thing out. Episcopal High School, went to Cisco College, then Sam Houston in 2024. Last year, 14 games, 4 starts for UTSA. This is Armstrong, who takes one high for a ball. Part of the lineup, 3, 4, and 5 for Baylor. Armstrong would walk in his last plate appearance back in the 3rd. Felt like Miles was done after his 5 innings, the way his teammates greeted him when he came off the field. Through 74 pitches. 50 strikes. One of the things that you ask and expect of an experienced starter is to kind of pitch to the scoreboard. High fly into the corner. Hayworth pursuing. And there's one out. Pitch to the scoreboard is exactly what Connor Miles was able to do once he was spotted a little bit of a lead. He got really aggressive, threw a lot of strikes. At one point, he got 4 outs on just 7 pitches. So he was able to just go out there, keep the guys engaged, get the ball put in play, and just keep moving it along. I would completely agree. He just kind of shortened the game a little bit and took some of the steam out of the Bears after his offense kept putting runs up on the board. Not out of the woods yet, but just pushing this game a little bit further to the middle innings and beyond as Janusek takes ball 1. How about that front door breaking ball for a strike at the knees? And he paints a fastball in the inside corner, knee high. It's a tough sequence for a freshman right there. You get one started at your hip that goes over for a strike, then you get one that starts down at the bottom of your knees and just planes out for strike 2. Gotta be thinking, now what am I getting? Well, I got the breaking ball again. Silva will have to complete the strikeout with a throw to first, but I guess he may have been tagged instead. So Gunnar Brown with the K. That was some carving too. You'll learn a lot of lessons as a young baseball player and as a freshman, seeing some of these big arms for the first time. One of the lessons you learn is sometimes you didn't have a chance, and it didn't matter what you did or what you swung at or didn't swing at. That was one of those at-bats. It's not a fun lesson, but if that pitch is one that Brown can throw for strikes, there's going to be a few other lessons learned tonight. Absolutely. That starts at the kneecap and runs over for a strike. McDade bats again. Then he started a little further in and runs over the outside corner. Now you can do whatever you want. Now you can go inside, get in on his hands. You can start it a little bit further out, break it off the plate. Watch him hit a guy with a fastball up and in. Nope, lean on that pitch again. Well, he got the chase from Janusek with 2 strikes and a breaking ball in the dirt. McDade would not follow suit. If a guy can wait that long to see your breaking ball, I don't know that he's going to be able to get on the fastball. Right? When you have a good breaking ball working like Brown knows he has right now, guys aren't seeing it well. They're waiting back to try to recognize that spin. Throw the fastball by him. Stroked out to left field. This one's got a chance to find the Crawford boxes, and it will. He came back with the curve one too many times, and Cash McDade homers to put the Bears on the board. You see enough breaking balls, eventually you'll get a good feel for where you want it to start for it be a good one to go after.
And McDade right there finally got one up that stayed in the zone, and he's in the lineup right now because they think he can provide a little bit of power to this offense, and that's a powerful swing right there on finally a good pitch for one of these Bears to drive.
No doubt. It was quickly 0-2, but he fought his way back and homers. And it's a 9-1 game. Hunter Snow going to foul one to our left into the seats.
It's all about where the breaking ball starts. You don't want one that starts at your hip and breaks to the corner. You don't want one that starts outer third and breaks off. You want that one that starts just about at your front elbow and hangs out there over the middle of the plate.
0-2 again. Missed with that 2-strike pitch. First inning for Brown in relief of Miles. Chopper to Arquette. He was way off the line and will easily throw out Snow to end the inning. But the Bears get the solo home run from Cash McDade to make this a 9-1 game.
Strength that responds. Refinement you can feel. And tech that anticipates. Welcome to the Genesis GV70. Lease the GV70 for $399 per month. Exclusively at your Houston area Genesis retailers.
Life doesn't fit in a box, and neither should your coverage. At Higginbotham, we listen first, because every home, every business, and every person is different. From insurance to HR to financial solutions, we help protect what matters most, your people, your livelihood, and what you're building for the future. That's what it means to put people first. Higginbotham, insurance, HR, and financial services. Inspired by you.
Every shot's lively, every shot means something. You know, really kind of got an energy that's different than a lot of the rest of the course.
There's so many people here, so it's a little bit more than a golf clap.
Well, you're right on top of the action, and it's gotten pretty loud coming through already.
It's nice to see how the professionals play the same holes that we've played. Truly a great experience. It's easily the best hole on the course.
Well, it's a 9-1 game as we head to the 7th inning. Baylor's going right back to their bullpen to bring on what'll be the 4th Bears pitcher of the night. This beautiful evening here at Dyken Park. It's Camden Cluett, sophomore from Montgomery, Texas.
Another reliever out of the pen for Baylor. Righty, fastball, curveball. Hasn't seen action yet this year, so you know, a game that gets a little bit lopsided also presents opportunities, and you go out there and show that you can throw strikes, show that you can get some outs, and
indeed
maybe find yourself a role.
It's a land of opportunity. Diego Diaz will lead off, but Cluett had a couple of years of high school baseball at Servite in Anaheim, California, then moved to Montgomery in the greater Houston area. 5 appearances a year ago. And 4 1/3 innings. So 7, 8, and 9 due up. Diaz has been on base all 3 times. A couple of singles. He has 2 of the 10 hits for the Roadrunners. We're trying to run the table, so to speak, here in Houston. Trying to get that 10th win in 11 games. So Hansen, DeVasier, Bergman, and Cluett, the 4 pitchers that the Bears have used. UTSA to this point has run out just a couple. For UTSA, though, to be in this event, I know it was something that you know, they were pretty pleased to get the invite. And then to come here and potentially win 3 games is kind of the icing on the cake.
No, absolutely. And one of those weekends where you see it on the schedule and you know, okay, we're going to be tested. We're going to find out something about ourselves that weekend. To walk away with 3 victories, you got to be feeling pretty good about it. And another thing that comes into it, it's a UTSA program that's starting to get a little juice from a recruiting standpoint. You come into Houston and you have a good showing and the games are on TV and there's fans coming out and watching, and all of a sudden people start talking about, hey, UTSA came in and they went 3-0 in that tournament. Can only help.
And the 3-2 is poked out to left center field, and Diaz continues to get on base. He'll take a big wide turn and hold there with the leadoff single in the 7th. You know, Brian, people are attracted to winning. That's as old as the eternity of sports. But I think you're also attracted to fun, just a little bit of juice in a dugout. At least I think I would be.
No, absolutely. You want to go. If you're a high school kid sitting watching these games, you want to look at teams and say, man, it would be great to be a part of that. It would be fun to be a part of that. I'd like to be that kind of player. And there's definitely a kind of player for UTSA that they look for.
Well, Palmer just hit a soft liner to first, and then Diaz got doubled up. So 2 quick outs. A little bit too much bounce on that lead on the soft liner. I thought that Reebok might try and let this one fall, but he realized he could make that catch and throw back to first.
It's the Altuve rule right there. You got to take a little bit of the bad to get a lot of the good.
I think that makes sense. Jordan Baldwin will foul one down the left field line and out of play.
If you want your guys to always be ultra aggressive, every once in a while they're going to get hit.
Every once in a while, you're right. There'll be a little give back to the baseball gods. Base is empty, 2 outs in the 7th, and Baldwin takes strike 2. Had a couple of teams this weekend that have jumped out to big leads and then have not been able to kind of keep firing to get to that point where maybe they might have a chance to shorten the game.
I hadn't noticed.
I think you have. I think you have. Nice try, though. And the 1-2 breaking ball is in.
Let's go.
Ballin bats in the 9-hole. He scored a couple of runs. He's knocked it a run. He hits that one hard, and a diving layout from Armstrong. He's tried that a few times today, and that one he won the battle and the war, and he retires Baldwin in just 3 bats. For the Roadrunners, time to stretch them out. UTSA up by 8.
Kids, want to be a part of something big? Join the Astros Buddies Club, presented by HEB, the official kids club of the Houston Astros. Members 12 and under get 4 tickets to select Astros games, plus awesome gear, a drawstring bag, a widget hat, socks, shoe charms, and a cool lanyard. You'll also have chances to be a part of exclusive experiences like autograph sessions, clinics, parades, and more. All this for just $45. Sign up at astros.com/buddies and become part of the team today.
Hello, everyone. Your favorite pro, Jason Alexander, here at Lighten It Up on the Pro Show, where we're getting to hang with our favorite sporting celebrities. We've got stories with the Rocket, Roger Clemens, golf tips with Patrick Reed. We'll hit a couple of shots out of studio, Hear our favorite celebrities' top 3, and don't forget about KOB, Coach Classics, Miss Dion, and get ready to be inspired with Austin and Friends. Plenty of Figure 5s on the way. So check your local listings right here on the Space City Home Network, and we'll see y'all on the first tee.
Hey, H-Town, I've been waiting for it, you've been waiting for it, and now it's here.
They finally climbed that hill!
Catch your Rockets and Astros games for just $19.99 per month, or sign up all year for $199.99. That's $40 in savings.
Forget about it!
No cable, no satellite, no contracts. Just download the app and watch your teams.
Stream your teams direct with Space City Home Network Plus. Download today at SCHNplus.com.
Everybody's sufficiently stretched out, even that young one. And a couple of young ones. Watching their Roadrunners, UTSA has had this one fairly in command or control, but still a few opportunities left for the Bears. 9-1, bottom of the 7th. Clements will lead off, followed by Kennett and Caraway. First one from Brown. He spiked that one to the backstop. Clements doubled in the 4th. It's one of 4 hits the Bears have recorded tonight.
It's probably the best swing that they've taken tonight as well.
Roadrunners got 4 in the 2nd inning, 2 more in the 3rd, 2 more in the 4th. They got a run in the 5th. There's that over the top curve, landing for a strike.
Certainly got a good feel for that breaking ball. He's willing to throw it in any count.
Yeah, he's leaned on that a lot. Bunt try from Clements does not work.
Hey, give me some, Vic. Give me some. Now, boy, let's go. You're working here. You're working. Let's go. Good. I like it.
It's a chopper that'll bend and stay. Foul.
Let's go. Keep going.
Baylor's going to stay on the road. They'll be at Tarleton on Tuesday, and then they come home to face Air Force for 3, Sam Houston for a game, and West Virginia for 3. Clements will be on base. They'll get to settle in Waco here pretty soon. After spending these last couple of weekends on the road in these 3-team events. J.J. Canada's 0 for 2. So a hit by pitch to start this inning. Here's that curve again for strike 1. Long pause from Brown before the next pitch. That's poked out of play. You know, the one thing this Baylor team has kind of hung their hat on in the first couple of weeks is stealing bases. They had 20 stolen bases entering the game last night. The problem was they were down 5-0 out of the gates. They were down 9-0 today. It's taken one of their weapons away in some aspects. That one is laced to center. Hallmark will take it on a bounce.
It's kind of one of those things where you're made to play close games. You're made to hang around and try to find ways to win late, but you get down early. Not really a team that's made to kind of get big chunks of runs to make those comebacks.
You don't want to say you have to pound the home runs, but it does help when you're trying to put runs on the board in bunches.
You just want, as a team, to be dynamic, to be able to score runs different ways, because if you have a situation where one's not working, you want to have a secondary plan.
Caraway's 0 for 2. Baylor team that won 33 games last year, 13-17 in league play. Hoping to continue to push that. The only thing is, you see the improvement year to year and what Coach Thompson has done. He's elevated his schedule this year as well, and I think that's a challenge. And that was poke foul. They came into this year knowing they were going to play 22 games against teams that were in the NCAA tournament last year, 11 different teams. I think he told his team maybe just a week ago, listen, I could schedule wins if I wanted to.
The goal is to be better at the end of the season than you are at the start of the season. And one of the things you have to do in order to do that is play good competition and try to rise to the level and then become the best version of yourself, hopefully going into the NCAA tournament.
And that's the goal. I think when you start talking about progress, when it's been a few years, the fans, the program, they would love to see that opportunity to return to a regional. That's when college baseball really is fun. And that one poked back and out of play. And, I think maybe you touched on it the other day that there's so much attention on Omaha. And then you kind of back it up a little bit to maybe the supers or the regionals. At times, for those that aren't diehards, this first month is kind of a blur because it's the end of basketball. It's the beginning of spring training. We had the Olympics this year, which only complicated matters more. So wave and a miss route number 1. And obviously when the popularity and the television ratings of Omaha would indicate that people do enjoy the sport. So you want to back that up a little bit. But when you do play on that stage, it's not a lot of fun when you're sitting home watching.
No, you want to be a part of the fun. And if you want to be a team that competes on a year in, year out basis, that all starts with recruiting. And you've got to be in the NCAA tournament to be visible enough and to have enough eyes on you that you can go out there and recruit at a high level.
Travis Sanders back to the top of the lineup in the box for the 4th time today. He's going to shoot one up the middle, and that's into center for a base hit. So Clements, who was hit by a pitch, is going to score. The throw is going to go to third base. It's going to result in an out if we don't have obstruction. So the run will score. Kennett is out. Sanders follows to second. It's 9-2. There's a lot going on in that play.
A lot going on, but one thing that's apparent is that Christian Hallmark is heads up out there in center field. He knows as soon as that ball's hit, he doesn't have a play at home. The ball's just not hit hard enough for him to get to it quickly. So he's thinking third base from the very beginning, and he comes up firing and puts an accurate throw on there. And you really got to be heads up of that throw coming to the backside, especially in a situation where base runners and outs are starting to be really critical.
And we have not been overwhelmed with arm strength from the outfield in this event. There have been a lot of throws that have been lacking. That one ripped into right, a base hit from Reebok. Sanders will circle third and score, making this a 9-3 game. But Hallmark got the outfield assist. But here come the Bears. They've scored the last 3 runs of this game.
A little bit of momentum all of a sudden for this Baylor offense, and it started from the bottom of the order. You get some traffic on and turn it over to the more veteran guys. Now you're in a situation where you've got your best power threat up and you're getting to the middle of the order, and you're not quite there yet where one swing gets you right back into it, but could make the last couple innings pretty interesting.
No, if you're Brown, I mean, the message is, bro, let's go. I mean, the hit batter kind of accelerated this inning, and you can almost see that one coming, as we talked about before. When you have a team that hasn't hit a lot, you want to kind of serve them up a freebie, hit a batter and put somebody on base. Were it not for the outfield assist from Hallmark, this would have the makings of a potentially much bigger inning.
Well, and you can just tell by kind of the pace at which he's working that Gunnar Brown isn't all that comfortable. Things have really slowed down. You got a big lead. You've got a team that's not hitting much. You go out there and catch and fire, get it going, get some action going. It's just slowed down.
Now he's faced all 9 of these hitters. Armstrong was the first man that he got to look at, and vice versa last inning in the 6th. Nine-3 game in the bottom of the 7th. Out to right for a base hit. Diaz was nowhere near his normal position, and that ball just was kind of a heat seeker to an open spot.
The old shift beater right there, and as a pitcher, it's frustrating when you think you get the ground ball right at the second baseman, and you turn around and he's nowhere to be seen. You forget about the 5 or 6 others where a guy makes a play going up the middle, but in the moment, definitely a little bit frustrating.
Coach Hallmark on his way out to the mound. May have been some activity earlier in that bullpen. So the Roadrunners scored the first 9. The Bears have plated the last 3.
I think the message from Pat Hallmark here is, hey, we're still not in trouble. You know, one big swing of the bat and all of a sudden you are, but still 9-3. You're still 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning and getting us back into the dugout to maybe score a couple more runs. I mean, all the pressure, all the getting tight, that's in the other dugout. We need to still play loose. We need to still throw strikes because we still control the game for now.
For now.
For now.
Janusek, though, the cleanup hitter in the box. It's an interesting game for Janusek the other day. He had the leadoff home run in the contest, and first time the Bears done that in about a year. And then he also stole home. First time that's been done in a couple of years. So it's one of those days or games that doesn't happen all the time. Fisted out to left center field, down again for another hit and another run. It's 9-4.
That's where location can get you in trouble as a pitcher. That's why you want to be down on the zone, because mishit balls down in the zone turn into weak ground balls that are easily fielded. But if it's a ball up in the zone, even if it's mishit, it's kind of that soft line drive that finds the outfield. You got to get these pitches down to the bottom third.
Well, the Bears really climbing back into this one, and McDade, who homered last inning to put them on the board, hits one to shallow center, and Hallmark had a sprint to come in and make that catch to end the inning. Bears get 3, tighten this game up, 9-4 as we head to the 8th inning.
There's a big deal going on at Whataburger, like the new Big Ranch Wrap, a crispy chicken strip, buttermilk ranch, cheese, and fresh veggies in a warm tortilla. Or go bigger with 5 premium Whata chicken bites. Or go bigger than big with our Bacon Cheese Whataburger Jr. with fresh 100% beef and melty cheese. Make it even bigger with fries and a drink for a little more. Now that's a big deal. The Whata deal, now at Whataburger. Download the app.
Hey, can I? Thanks. Well, listen, son, now that you're getting older, you might be curious about certain things.
Please don't do this.
You're eligible to be a member of Navy Federal Credit Union because I served in the Army. Our whole family can join and get exclusive savings and discounts.
Cool.
Very cool.
All veterans and their families can join. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
To the 8th we go. Baylor scored the last 4 runs. Hoping to put up a 0 in the top of this frame and get right back to the box. Meanwhile, new pitcher coming into the game for Baylor, Cade Weibel, on to throw.
Transfer from McLennan Junior College. He was a closer in college. They saw him. They think that he has back of the bullpen type of stuff. Fastball in the mid-90s. Hard slider. The results haven't been there yet. He's made 2 appearances, 1 inning. You see, can see the inflated ERA. So he's going to have a good showing in some outings like this to start to earn a little bit of trust, to maybe get a little bit more leverage situations that he's accustomed to throwing in.
Back to the top of the lineup. Caden Miller will take one down and out for ball one.
Go, Caden, get it, man. Go, man. Come on.
Miller had the 3-run homer in the second that jumped the lead up to 4-0. Walked and scored back in the fourth. Madisonville, Texas sophomore. And Weibel is pitcher number 5 used by the Bears in this game.
Seems like this last half of the game for Baylor and for Mitch Thompson is, let's see if we can find anybody down there kind of in the depths of the bullpen who can maybe show us something that we can use in the coming weeks.
And you're seeing guys kind of in 1-inning stints. Come in, air it out. You know, I'm not going to
overextend anybody.
No, I'm not going to push what might be a good inning and then when I can get somebody else in and do the same thing. Ball 4, and Miller will walk to begin the top of the 8th inning. This is Detlefson. He's been hit by a pitch not once but twice today. So yesterday he had a 2-homer game. Today he's had a 2 hit by pitch game. I know which one of those 2 I'd enjoy a little bit more. But things travel in 3s, and didn't get that 3rd home run yesterday, but he'd really like to hit his way on this time. And again, if you just flip it in to the contest into our 9th game, the Baylor Bears won their opener against Ole Miss 6-5 in 10. Lost to Texas last night. But UTSA has won both games. Taking care of Ohio State by a run, 16-10, a win against Coastal yesterday. Count 2-0 to Detlefson. Hard hit, base hit between 3rd and short, between Clements and Sanders. Here come the Roadrunners again, 1st and 2nd, nobody out.
Kind of pick your poison right there. You got a pitcher on the mound struggling to throw strikes. Catcher goes out there and is probably telling him, hey man, if we're going to get out of here alive today, we got to at least throw it over the plate. And as soon as you do it, guy goes and whacks one into left field. But at the same time, you get that same ball right here, and it's right at the third baseman, and you all of a sudden get yourself a double play ball.
Turn 2 and begin that process of getting out of the inning. Here's Hayworth. Now it is the heart of the lineup, though, for the Roadrunners. Hayworth and then Arquette to follow and Hallmark. So that's 12 hits for the Roadrunners. Baylor very quiet through 5 innings. They have 9. Each team's had a homer here in the finale of day 3 of the Bruce Bowl College Classic. Well, a couple of batters and a couple of balls, and Mitch Thompson says, you know what, I'm going to take Brian Bogusevic's advice, but I'm not going to listen to him. I'm going to
do the opposite.
Yep, I'm going to do the opposite, and I'm just going to keep going to the bullpen. Got someone ready. Step aside, come back, tell you who the new pitcher is in the 8th inning after this.
Imagine you are him, and you have a brain tumor. Like you, your brain tumor is unique, inoperable to some, but your team at Houston Methodist pushes the boundaries to uncover a hidden path that makes your tumor operable. That's the difference between practicing medicine and leading it. For you. Houston Methodist, leading medicine.
For one momentous month, Houston comes alive to showcase its best. Family, friends, old and new, gather in the heart of Texas to celebrate the spirit of the West. The stadium lights blaze every night, casting shadows on cowboys and cowgirls whose courage shines bright. Here, livestock aren't just animals. They're champions, companions, and a testament to a way of life. From legends who have graced the star-studded stage to the students who have a trail to blaze, more than 90 years of legacy, heritage, and grit are woven in. Rodeo Houston is a part of the fabric of our souls within. The melodies will echo forever in our hearts. To the memories made and the dreams yet to come, long live the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Welcome to the show.
R.J. Ruwe is on to pitch. We did see him at the end of the game yesterday. In fact, he came on to face 3 batters in that loss to Texas. Went 2/3 of an inning, gave up a hit, struck out a batter. But he comes pitcher number 6 for Baylor tonight. Inherits a couple of base runners and a 2-0 count.
And I think also with this pitching change, Mitch Thompson sending a message down to the guys who are left down there in the bullpen saying, hey, if you're going to come out here and throw, I need you to throw strikes. He wasn't comfortable with what he saw from Cade Weibel, just having trouble finding the strike zone in a game that's gotten a little bit lopsided. So he goes down and makes the move to a more trusted arm, a guy who has a better feel for the strike zone.
Would not disagree with that. So Ruwe will look at Hayworth and then Arquette. The one thing about this position in the lineup with your 3 and 4 hitters, we've seen this duo homer 3 times in a couple of days, including a grand slam. So with runners on base, as this team has kind of fought its way back into this one just a bit, doesn't want to see the game tilted dramatically right back to the road runners. 9-0. It feels like a really big uphill climb. 9-4, a little more realistic. Hayworth had a sac fly in the 4th, singled in the 6th. Not sure I understand that step off, but I guess I don't have to. Sometimes you feel like you step off when there's no threat to run, like maybe you're not convinced of the pitch you want to throw, but it's the first one.
I've got to do something.
I don't want to pitch, so I'll throw to second. The guy has a 3-step lead. And that 3-0's inside. So, ball 4. Now the bases are full of road runners for Josh Arquette. And again, he did hit a grand slam yesterday.
He is familiar with this situation.
Last couple of times Arquette has come to the plate, he has struck out both the 4th and 6th innings.
Of course it is. Of course it's not working.
Watch issue.
Something you have to be careful of if you're Ruwe right here. Saw that ball 4, the kind of tail that he has on the fastball. If you're trying to throw inside to Josh Arquette, you don't want it leaking back out over the plate. He can turn on a ball.
That one, however, was not close. Miller at third, Detlefson at second, Hayworth at first. And nobody out here in this UTSA 8th inning. Roadrunners have had a lot of traffic even in some of these innings in which they have not scored later in this game. Golden opportunity, though, to add to this lead. As Arquette just about took out a teammate in the dugout. One and two. Arquette just does extend for that, get a piece to stay alive, and foul it at the plate.
Seems like Arquette's just trying to kind of bide his time till he gets a mistake pitch. He's fought off a couple good ones here.
That's down to the dirt. Pretty good block by Kennett. Certainly with men on base or men at every base, that becomes even more important than normal. Couple of walks and a single and a pitching change have been part of the ingredients here in this 8th. And again, Kennett has to block a pitch in the dirt. So the importance of this pitch has become that much greater. The payoff is hit foul, third base side, softly. Another pitch that it almost felt like Arquette just kind of spoiled to see another
quality pitch. It's a little cutter slider in on his hands, able to fight it off, live to get another pitch.
Another payoff. That's strike 3. Outside corner, a big first down. So Rue won that one.
Not sure Rue was trying to be that perfect with that 3-2 pitch, but that's on the black right there with a little bit of tailing action. Arquette thought he saw it off. Also, nice job getting around it, framing it there by Kennett.
So here comes Hallmark. Well, we're going to have a pinch hitter. Brandon Bishop, senior from College Station. Glenn Juco. Just about hit it. You know, Hallmark is such a big part of their defense. A little bit interesting in that situation to hit for him.
You would think even in a situation here where, you know, one swing can push across a couple runs, kind of in the business of run prevention at this point.
You could be. Baylor with 6 outs to go.
Work, RJ, work.
So Bishop pinch hitting for Hallmark with the bases loaded in the 8th inning. Well, he missed that by a foot.
A lot of depth on that pitch right there. You know, slider usually is more of a side-to-side pitch. That time Rue kind of got on top of it and more of just a drop out of the zone type of pitch.
Can he get another strikeout? That was a check swing, but on the appeal, no swing. So Bishop was able to hold back on a ball that was in the dirt. Kennett's been busy blocking pitches this inning. Pitch timer rolling down, and Rue will let it go with 1, and he runs it over the outside corner for another called strike 3.
You can tell guys just aren't really getting a good look at what the movement of those pitches are doing. He's got the fastball with a little bit of tail, the slider that he can break back, and it's just
not comfortable.
Kind of starting on the edge and going one way or the other, and the hitters haven't really been able to figure it yet.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense as Silva takes one high for a ball.
More back in the house, come on.
Silva's got a couple of doubles, couple of runs scored to his ledger. The last 2 times up, though, he's been retired on a strikeout and a pop-up. Rue's not been close on these last 2. He inherited a couple of runners. He did walk Hayworth, but that was a count that he began with a 2-0 sequence. So struck out the 2 full batters that he has faced since coming on in this 8th inning.
It's the one you want. 2-0 right there.
I would think. Hard hit and into left for a base hit. It'll score a run, maybe 2. Snow comes up with a baseball. This throw will get to the plate and be in time to cut down Detlefsen.
I think he might have gotten his foot in. He thinks so.
Roadrunners get that 10th run, but Snow's throw had a couple of hops in it, but it was tracking to the plate, and Kennett, for the time being, applied the tag.
And as Kennett came in for the tag, Detlefsen kind of stuck his foot on top of the plate instead of sliding over and past. And he thinks he got it in before the tag.
So no surprise, UTSA will challenge. As it is currently, it's 10-4, and this inning would be over. What do you think, Brian?
View from behind, kind of inconclusive. He definitely gets his foot down quickly. It's a nice slide. Question is does the tag get applied to his calf just before the foot gets down? It's hard because the view from behind, he kind of shoots out from behind the catcher just as the tag is applied.
You know, had he been inside the chalk, I think he would have gone to that plate, maybe had a chance to touch it with his hand. But he was coming in the foul territory side where the throw was as well. I just don't know right now if there's anything conclusive. I feel like
foot's down there.
I don't know. I think it's going to stand. The Roadrunners are celebrating. They think it's safe. I think the run will count.
I think, of course, whatever got called on the field probably stands either way.
Where I'm leaning.
And if there was an over-the-top view, you'd probably be able to tell for sure.
Yeah, we do not have that aspect where, you know, it looks like that foot's down, but you can't quite tell if that tag is on the blouse of the pants or not, but we'll find out soon. Runner's safe. So it's a 2-run single, and the inning continues. (11-4). Diego Diaz takes strike 1.
And that slide from Detlefsen, it's something that not everybody does. You know, home plate obviously flush with the ground. It's not like the rest of the bags where they're raised and you kind of hit the bag going in. You've got to get your foot down. A lot of times you see guys slide and they're in that kind of figure 4 slide where their foot's up in the air and they go over the top of home plate and end up getting tagged with their foot hovering above. He did a nice job sticking his foot on the plate.
Yeah, he made it pretty emphatic that he touched the plate when he stepped on it. We were just, from that last angle we were looking at, I just couldn't quite tell if the edge of that glove was on the pant or the leg or whether it was maybe an inch away, but maybe they had a better view than we. I think you saw it in real time as safe, and that's what the call was, and it continues the inning. But yeah, I think it was just stomping on that plate that made that apparent that he was on the dish and not hovering.
At the very least, it gives the umpires a definitive look at when you hit the plate. There was nothing ambiguous about when he touched home plate.
Now that's strike 3. So the inning will end. It does end up costing the Baylor Bears a run. But 11-4 to the bottom of the 8th we go from the Bruce Bolts College Classic.
Bold are the adventurous. Determined are the leaders. Faithful are the healers. At Baylor, you'll find your calling, your people, and your purpose. Dare to be you, indeed.
2026 is already heating up, and we're giving you the ultimate head start. Get guaranteed access to the 2026 World Baseball Classic. Secure the best seat locations in Daikin Park. Enjoy 45% savings over single-game ticket prices. Plus, receive significant savings with your exclusive team store discount. And don't forget about your exclusive invite to season ticket holder experiences and events. Visit astros.com/season tickets for more information.
Space that adapts. Clarity that keeps you focused. And style that grabs hold. Welcome to the Genesis GB80. Get 2.99% APR on the Genesis GB80. Exclusively at your Houston area Genesis retailers.
Well, it's 11-4. UTSA in front. They tacked on a couple of runs in that 8th inning. Baylor had scored 4 and answered before that point. So Brown is back to work. This is will be his 3rd inning. Faced 8 hitters though in the 7th. Hunter Snow, the only man that he didn't face. And the first pitch for a strike over the inside corner to Dylan Perez. Popped up. Shortstop Ballin is going to keep back pedaling, but he'll get there to make the catch. Clements, the third baseman, hit by a pitch and scored last inning. 2 on top of this inning, though, gave the Roadrunners a little bit of that breathing room that started to slip away.
Yeah, you could feel Baylor push a couple runs across, start feeling like they're back into it.
That's poked fair down the line and right and into the corner. Clements should have extra bases. Hayworth kind of disappears in that corner, but Clements will have a double.
2 doubles on the day for Clements. 1 pull side in the gap, 1 shoot it down the right field line. Pretty good work going left field and right field.
J.J. Kenneth, the catcher, also singled in his last at bat last inning. Looks like there's activity rolling in both bullpens. Lefty up for UTSA. It's Christian Gutierrez, local product, Bridgeland High School. Good stop by Silva. Two strikes and 12 balls for Brown, so he's been around the plate, and that one fouled off to the right.
Here we go, Jay. 5-8, fight.
Bottom of the lineup in the bottom of the 8th for Baylor. Another one that's going to find its way to the seats, to the right field side. Big bounce and kick up even further into the stands, and the chase is on. Brown got him.
That is a tough place to get hit. Kind of commit a little bit and open up and expose that back elbow. There is nothing but flesh. There's no elbow pad on that backside.
No way to duck either at that point. Boy, the hit batters are a bit of an epidemic. I think Coach Hallmark's seen enough. Saw some activity going in his bullpen. Quick pop-up to begin this inning, but the double and the hit batter. And here come the Bears again. They'll make the call to the bullpen. Will step aside. Baylor, a little bit of traffic in the bottom of the 8th, down by 7. Be back with the new pitcher.
Hi, Alice. I'm here for
Your new prescription? Your refill. Indigestion again. Aisle 3. Joint support. Aisle 6. Uh-oh. Aisle 5. Vitamin C. Aisle 7. Let me call your doctor. Your insurance. Your grandkids are growing like weeds. Snacks are on aisle 9.
Go ahead. See you next time, Alice.
I'll see ya.
A fuller life deserves fuller care. That's the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Made from scratch food. Check. A front row view of the game. Check. Houston's best wings? Double check. It's Big City Wings, Houston's famous wing joint, where it's always made fresh, always from scratch, and always a good time. With locations all over Houston, pop in today. Watch the game and enjoy one of our daily specials. Because people who know about great food and the best wings know it's all about Big City Wings, Houston's wing joint, and the place you've been looking for.
No. I'm in my own head.
What the heck are you talking about?
I think I got away with something that I shouldn't have. See that brand new Hyundai Santa Fe?
Yeah.
I only paid.
Finish that bucket on your own. Practice makes perfect.
Enjoy your new car.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
Feels so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days on select Hyundai vehicles. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
Christopher Gutierrez, youngster out of Cypress and Bridgeland High School, becomes pitcher number 3, used by UTSA.
Freshman lefty, kind of built some trust in this UTSA coaching staff. Been a guy that they go to in some pockets where there's going to be some left-handed hitters coming up. 2 of the next 3 are lefties for Baylor. So Christopher Gutierrez in for the second time this weekend. He threw on Friday against Ohio State. Kind of a crossfire fastball. He'll throw the breaking ball off of that. Good feel for the strike zone too.
Well, he inherits a couple of base runners. It was a quick pop-up to begin this inning. Then all of a sudden a double and a hit batter. With Bo Caraway, the 9-hole hitter, coming back up to the plate. UTSA got a couple of runs in the top of the inning to regain a little bit of the scoring mojo and an 11-4 lead. Bears have found much better at bats later on in this game than they did at the beginning. We've had 5 combined hit batters that seemed like they've played a big role in this game as well. Sanders is on deck. He's the leadoff hitter for the Bears. Bouncer to second. Scoop by Diaz. He'll flip to first to get the speedy Caraway for out number 2. Both runners move up. Clements to third. Kennett to second. Sanders knocked in a run in that big 7th inning. A couple of hits for him today. In fact, he's had 5 this weekend. Coach Hallmark right back to the mound. Is he going to go and bring on a right-hander?
this is going to be a pitching change or if this is, keep in mind that there's a lefty on deck. Be careful with the guy coming to the plate. Think about the next guy.
Michael Durantis, our plate umpire, is on his way out to the mound to inquire, and it will be a pitching change. So, going to probably bring on a righty. Indeed, that's the case. We'll be right back. 11-4, bottom of the 8th inning.
I went to work. I wasn't sick, Keith. I was just Keith.
Nobody's purpose in life is to be a cancer patient. Many of those patients want to continue to work to maintain that sense of normalcy and empowerment.
It's something that every individual has to decide for themselves.
Work was a way that I could still feel like myself.
Getting out of bed, given a fighting chance is all we got.
We can make work a better place for healing.
No. I'm in my own head.
What the heck are you talking about?
I think I got away with something that I shouldn't have. See that brand new Hyundai Santa Fe?
Yeah.
I only paid.
Finish that bucket on your own. Practice makes perfect.
Enjoy your new car.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye. Feels so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days on select Hyundai vehicles. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
Once a year, a rhythm thunders across Texas. It can't be tamed.
It can only be driven.
Texas is Ford Truck Month. Let's ride. These trucks, they haul, tow, and conquer everything in their path. So hold on tight and drive the Stampede.
Drive Super Duty with 0 for 60, 0 down, and 0 payments for 90 days. Plus 1,000 truck month bonus cash.
Ford is the best in Texas.
Well, from the lefty to the righty, here comes James Hubbard into this game in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Playing matchup here, trying to get to 27 outs for UTSA. Gutierrez came in, did his job, got the lefty out, so now James Hubbard going to come in here, probably throw a bunch of breaking balls to a right-handed hitter, see if he can't get a little bit of chase.
Runners at second and third with 2 outs. Baylor has 4 outs with which to work. Trailing by 7. But it is Sanders at the top of the lineup. Reebok, if anybody can continue this inning, such as Sanders, and then maybe Armstrong. Sanders is not homered this year, but he does have 18 hits. 4 runs batted in. Hubbard ready in the next one. Quickly, it's 0-2.
Go with you right here. Go with you, one back. Good job.
Hubbard, though, at Mesa Community College, Scottsdale, JC. Pitching here at Dyken Park, trying to strand a couple of runners and send this game to the 9th inning.
Good, up, boy.
A little bit up, a little bit out. He is the 3rd pitcher to throw this inning alone. For the Road Runners. On the ground of the shortstop ball, and this is going to require a long throw, and it's not going to be in time, and a run will score. Another hit for Sanders. That's 19 on his season.
It's just well placed right there for Sanders. He hit the ball hard. Jordan Ballin able to cut it off, but with his feet in the outfield grass, no chance going across the diamond. His best chance might have been maybe take a shot at third base, but didn't really have that good of an angle on it.
He did not, and it brings up Reebok. So now we're back to the lefty against the righty. Right on right didn't quite work, and that one was just about thrown to the backstop. The hit column is almost even. 13 for UTSA, 12 for Baylor. Most of these for the Bears have come in the last couple of innings. That's 2 in a row, Brian, that have not been close.
You got a max effort guy on the mound in Hubbard. He's really letting it fly. And when you do that, sometimes you can start yanking a little bit, and some of these pitches are getting kind of pulled to his glove side. That's a dangerous thing. Not only are you susceptible, obviously, to walks, not throwing the ball in the strike zone, but he's facing a left-handed hitter here with a little bit of pop. If you try to throw a fastball away and yank that pitch down and into a lefty, that's a pitch that can get hit a long way.
That's the happy zone?
Yeah.
His 3 misses have been in similar spots. Into left, another base hit. It's 11-6. And on the play, Sanders is going to motor to third and make it on the base hit for a rebound.
Nice piece of hitting right there from Reebok. He's got a pitcher out there who's kind of just spraying balls all over the place, so you don't really know what to look for, but gets himself a pitch out over the plate and doesn't try to spin, doesn't try to hit that big 3-run homer. Just poke it the other way, take your RBI, take your base hit, and get just a little bit closer to moving the tying run to the plate.
8 of the Bears' 12 hits have come in the last inning and 2/3. 5 hits last inning. Tacked on 3 more this inning, and for all the mixing and matching that the Roadrunners have attempted, it has not worked. And now the real power threat, Armstrong, up there, and he looks at a strike. It's quickly 0-2. Remember, at one point, this was 9-0 in favor of UTSA. Wave and a miss. Well, Hubbard bounced right back, went after Armstrong after giving up a couple of hits and gets the K to end the inning. Each team with a couple of runs in the 8th. On we go to the 9th, the 11-6 UTSA.
In the U.S., 1 in 5 children with cancer will not survive. But there is hope because of you. Help give them more birthdays, more moments, more tomorrows, because every child deserves a chance to grow up. Give them tomorrow. Support St. Jude today.
Hey, H-Town, I've been waiting for it, you've been waiting for it, and now it's here.
They finally climbed that hill!
Catch your Rockets and Astros games for just $19.99 per month, or sign up all year for $199.99. That's $40 in savings.
Forget about it!
No cable, no satellite, no contracts. Just download the app and watch your teams.
Stream your teams direct with Space City Home Network Plus. Download today at schnplus.com.
All of a sudden, a lot of hits, a lot of runs. We go to the 9th. Baylor's going to bring on another new pitcher. I'm about out of slots. I think this is number 7. It's Caldwell McFadden, another Magnolia product, Magnolia West High School.
The second pitcher for Baylor tonight that's making his season debut, Caldwell McFadden, righty, going out there, and we've talked about it for the better part of the second half of this game. So a lot of guys getting a look. They're looking for depth in this pitching rotation, and if you show well for your inning, there's probably going to be more innings for you.
No, I think you're onto something. I think that's the case. Or if you can come out and perform, it'll lead to another opportunity. And I don't know if there have been a moment or two in this game where it felt like it has been in jeopardy for the Roadrunners. Baylor certainly put up 5 runs in the last 2 innings, 6 runs in the last 3. But nonetheless, as you get later into the game, we've seen pitchers come in and kind of stumble. So if you come on and do the opposite, it would get my attention.
Well, we talked earlier about learning your team throughout the early part of the season, and we kind of talked about it in the context of the lineup construction, who's in the middle of the order, who's a top guy, who's lefty righty splits. You got to learn your rotation, and you need depth. You need depth in a pitching staff to get through an entire schedule, and there's going to be guys who maybe weren't on the radar to start the year that you're going to need.
Palmer takes that one outside, 2-2. He lined into a double play his last time up. 0 for 4 today.
No better way to get in the good graces of the pitching coaches than to go out there and throw a bunch of strikes.
One of 7 Bears pitchers used tonight. That's painted on the corner, strike 3. So Palmer down looking to begin the top of the 9th inning for the Roadrunners.
Pretty nice first impression from McFadden right there. Go out, get ahead in the count,
and finish.
Show him a little something, and then say, hey, I'm coming right back into the zone and paint a fastball. If you can command a fastball, you got something. You got a good place to start from.
Yeah,
right
it does
there.
feel like the starting point, and you're right. And then you get into 2 pitches for strikes and being able to throw the breaking ball. This is Ballin.
You can have a lot of success being able to put your fastball on both corners, throw a breaking ball for a strike.
Got a little nervous energy in McFadden as well. That's off the glove of Armstrong out into right field. So Ballin will be on for the 3rd time.
That's what he does.
Kind of that prototypical number 9 guy. He just turns this lineup over.
He doesn't always hit it far. He doesn't always hit it that hard, but more often than not, you look up and Jordan Ballin's on first base.
Back to the top of the lineup in Caden Miller. He scored 3 runs, knocked in 3 runs, and he's homer. Armstrong with the air to allow that runner. I know Baylor was really pleased with their defense. I think they had turned 12 double plays as of a couple of days ago, but they've now made 6 errors in the last 2 games.
For a team who, we talked about a little bit earlier, whose game is kind of playing tight, close games and playing good defense and being able to run the bases, you can't give away outs.
Long pause from McFadden before the pitch, and he gets the wave and a miss. Been a long weekend for these umpires too. Oftentimes maybe calling multiple games in a day through the rotation. Three and 1. One loss again for the Roadrunners. They fell midweek at Texas State 7-2. That's been it. There's ball 4. So McFadden started on a bright note with a K, but then the air put a runner on base, and Miller walks, and there's Detlefson. He's been hit by a pitch twice and collected 2 hits. A lot of conversations on the mound here in these last few innings. Just trying to nurture these pitchers or navigate to the end of an inning. So getting now to the heart of this lineup for the Roadrunners, who have 11 runs on 13 hits. Big swing and a foul into the glove of the catcher, Kennan. Next one from McFadden. Bends one down again, so he has thrown more balls than strikes, even after striking out that first man that he faced. There's more activity going in the Baylor bullpen. Big wave and a miss. Went after the slider and came up empty.
It's a good pitch right there. That'll get you a good feel for the release point out in front. Land that breaking ball in the strike zone. Can reset your fastball release like that too.
Check of the runner at second. The next pitch is chopped foul outside of third base. Ball boy let that one go by, and he said, you know what, I'm just going to let that go. Perez can track it down. Then he threw it to the ball boy and he didn't catch it, so it rolled back out in left field again. Let's try this for a third time.
At some point the ball boy has to get the ball.
We need
right?
a little hustle, don't we? I mean, that's the name. It's his name, Ball Boy. It's not Sit Boy or Stool Guy.
Just wait for somebody else to get it, guy.
Yeah, wait for someone else to get it, guy. Does not fit on the back of your jersey. It's fouled away.
He's getting coached up down there now.
I think he is.
Hey, so
listen, that's you.
So let me tell you what the job description is.
When a ball comes in your vicinity,
it's yours.
You go get it, and then if you let the left fielder get it and he throws it to you, please secure it.
Oh, I just thought I had the best seat in the house.
Yeah, it's so good you're in play, but you're right.
I feel the same way, man.
Yeah, it's been kind of a long day for him, I'm sure. Well, the count has gone full. McFadden could use it out. Tag to center. This ball is going to travel all the way to the track, and the catch will be made by Caraway. Runners return to their respective bases, and Detlefson, who had a couple of homers, hit that to the wrong part of the park.
You can hit a ball 400 feet, and it'll be a long out here at Daikin Park. You can see Caraway, plenty of time to get under that ball. It was way up there in the air, but it was a pretty good ride. A lot of parks, that's a homer.
Indeed, a lot of college parks, that's a homer. But out number 2, Hayworth, the batter. He's had 4 hits this weekend. He's knocked in 5 runs this weekend. First pitch strike over the inside corner. Baylor's going to have their 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up in the bottom of the 9th inning. So McFadden's gone strikeout. There was an E3, a walk, and a deep fly out to center. Should be playable for Perez, who's there waiting. He'll make the catch, and that will end the inning. So McFadden had some trials and tribulations, but he strands a couple of runners. UTSA, I believe, has left 11 tonight. And we go to the bottom of the 9th inning, do or die for the Baylor Bears.
With the 2026 Toyota Tacoma, you can do whatever you want.
Whatever we want?
Yep, whatever you want.
Whatever we want.
Whatever we want.
Whatever we want!
Whatever we want.
The 2026 Toyota Tacoma, for every kind of adventure.
Right now, qualified lessees can lease a rugged new 2026 Tacoma SR5 for $289 a month for 39 months. Offer ends March 2nd.
Toyota, let's go places.
Vacationing is an art, and the Palm Beaches are your canvas. Stroll along sun-soaked beaches. Unwind at boutique resorts. Explore hidden and not so hidden gems. Here you'll discover a lifestyle that's nothing short of a masterpiece. Curate your perfect collection of experiences in the Palm Beaches.
Isn't it past his bedtime on a school night?
It should be. It's past my bedtime.
Well, we go to the bottom of the ninth inning, and Janusek will wave and miss. How many pitches have we now had in this game?
That's 308, 309.
309 and
was
counting.
that first one?
25 combined hits. Janusek will sky one to shallow right. Hayworth there and will put it away.
Plenty of ice bags to go around on the buses back to Waco and San Antonio.
There'll be two of those. Cash McDade homered, and when he homered, Brian, in the sixth inning, the Bears were really searching for something offensive. It was 9-0.
It's kind of similar to the game we saw yesterday afternoon between UTSA and Coastal Carolina, where it just looked like an offense that was really stale. But then all of a sudden in the last couple of innings, they've got something going. Not really enough to really be knocking on the door, but maybe enough to carry over into a midweek game this week and have some guys feel like they're swinging it well.
Yeah, I think that would have to be the hope. Soft flare that will be caught by Diaz. He started to backpedal and got there to make the catch, and there's 2 outs. And Perez, who has hit twice once he came on for Snow, represents the last chance for the Baylor Bears. About to put 9 games in the books here at the Bruce Bolt College Classic, and thanks to Stephen Grant of the Astros, who just continue to keep this event moving, and our television crew. A little bit overworked this weekend, but getting to the finish line, and there's a bouncer to short. Ball in there. He'll throw out Perez, and that will end the game. And the Roadrunners, Brian, win all 3 this weekend with an 11-6 victory over the Baylor Bears.
It's an impressive showing from UTSA. I was on for all 3 of their games, and my biggest takeaway is that's a very good offense. It's a very confident team, and they've got their sights set on a deep postseason run again this year.
So UTSA 10-1. Baylor falls to 6-7. A lot of people to thank. Again, our crew: Stephen Grant of the Astros, Pat Combs, and Brian Bogusevic, and Bill Cousins. Everybody upstairs associated with the Bruce Bolt College Classic. And once again, our final score in the finale in game number 9. UTSA takes it 11-6. Roadrunners have a big weekend. For all of our crew, I'm Brett Dolan saying good night, so long from Dyken Park, and thanks for tuning into the Bruce Bolt College Challenge.
This isn't us saying we make an EV. This is us saying we make an EV.